I hope so.
Well, that didn't work.
That was all Iain, that one, wasn't it?
Yeah. Whoops.
As soon as I clicked upload and play, I seen that and I'm like, I forgot to trim the picture. But hey, at least we know what he looks like now. We've had good 56 seconds of that.
I was really hoping that I didn't play on a loop again by accident like I did. Remember, I did the really long intro one, like a minute and a half of the same picture. It's a good picture, to be fair.
It is. It reminded me of, those awkward, like when somebody's videoing you and you think they're taking a picture and you stand there, you're like,
yeah.
But,
oh dear.
Anyway, so yes, guys, that was never rush a technical aspect of whatever show or thing you were doing, because that is what happens. We have, as good looking as he is and as great a pose it was, that's not the usual intro. But welcome to another Blether. Hello. Great to have the chat already going. We've got Springer G. We've got Paul McKendrick. Yeah, don't know. I don't recognise that name at all. He's not a regular.
What's he drinking?
You might recognise. He is. Oh, do you want me to read that one out too? Do you?
Yes, I do.
A cheeky wee Glengarry handful in the glass tonight. 2014 white port, freshly bottled earlier today.
I wonder who helped him do that.
I hope he paid full price.
100%. Got most of it.
It's a great dram. So a little bit jealous, Paul. I've got it in the bar. I don't have it here. It's a Glengarry and white port. Who knew? It does mix. Still waiting for that tawny port though.
Who knows?
Who knows? We've got Dave Ferguson. Good evening, Dave, with his customary Christmas cake slab. Wee Mongrel batch 4. Ian Abernethy is in. He's got the Weems malt, North British caramel apple sauce. Nice wee aged grain whiskey there. Who else is on and drinking with us? Springer G. Good evening, everyone. Looking forward to catching up with a fellow Fifer, Iain Mundy from FIB. Massive shout out. We will talk about that later. Bud 400, good evening to you. Great to have you on. Jeremy Watt is watching. Great to have you there as well. Yes, Bud, it's all about the planning and a lot to do with the lack of technical ability on certain members of the team's part. Who else? That's everyone so far. Dave Stark, good evening to you. Thanks for jumping on. Looking forward to seeing what Iain brings on Saturday, as we all are, I'm sure. I hope we might get a sneak peek tonight. I've got some indie bottles here as well to try, and we will be talking a lot about this weekend. I'm pretty sure a lot of the chat and a lot of the guys on there will be coming along. Just a quick mental note, I'm going to pop my phone on silent because sod's law, something will happen. Great to have you all on. What's in your glass apart from the lavender tea, Kat? Did you manage to get something?
Lavender tea is very nice. So I made a mad dash when I realised that I wasn't as late as I thought I was, and grabbed. So it was Mother's Day. When was Mother's? Like 2 weeks ago? I don't know. Last week.
Sunday.
So Sunday past.
Yeah.
So my very sweet children went off up to the shops because they can buy booze now, right? Awesome. So my eldest son had to look at my whiskey collection, the ones that he hasn't stolen, and look to see which bottles I owned, which ones I didn't. So he went and picked me up a bottle out of the supermarket. It's the Tamaroon. So yeah, I'll give that one a go because it's very, very sweet that they went and did that, and the fact that he'd gone to have a look to see if I owned one of these already or not. So I'll give that one a go. Kind of fun and cheerful and sherry, but we'll give it a go.
That's one of the we have a certain range of whiskies in the shop that I always think why we're stocking them, because they're probably about 6 or 8 quid cheaper in the supermarket. Tamaroon's one of them, Glen Murray, probably Old Pulteney, another one. But people keep coming in and asking for them, so we continue to stock them. We can't compete with supermarkets, but it's nice if people come in. So and it's a good dram, it's a good solid.
I don't even think I've ever
easy drinker. You'll enjoy it.
Yeah,
cask version, which I know you'll love so much.
Sherry, yum. But we'll give it a go.
Well, I have gone for my wee Daft Mill. I think these guys are at the show at the weekend. Part of the festival is expanded from indie bottlers as well as having indie distilleries. Nice. And I think Ian and Francis are doing a wee tasting as part of the festival. So I thought you don't need an excuse to crack out a Daft Mill, but that is my excuse. So that's a 2010 10-year-old bottled in 2021. So full bourbon, batch of 25 first full bourbon casks. So probably right up your street, actually, Kat.
Yeah, sounds like it. We can swap virtually.
We will do that. But let's bring Ian on and talk about what he's bringing to the festival, as well as everything else we are looking forward to chatting and maybe singing about later on. Is he adding to the stage? Here we go.
Hello.
Good evening, Ian. Hello.
Hi,
how are you?
How are we doing? I'm all good. Not sure about the singing though.
Yeah. You got a band? Are you not the singer in the band?
Yeah, well, not to be. Well, yeah, me and Andrew. To be fair, it is just FIB is also the band. Yeah, so we both sing equally, I suppose. But Andrew's the better singer, to be fair. So I'll give him the kudos for that.
So we can't expect a rendition tonight,
then. You'd have to get me fairly sloshed before.
Challenge accepted.
Well, it depends. Actually, to be fair, I've got enough whiskey here to get me way too sloshed to do anything I actually need to do tomorrow. So yeah, it's possible. But no, thank you for having me on. Yeah. No, really, I've been looking forward to this, and sorry for being so last minute to find this.
Thank you for joining us, especially when you've got a busy weekend ahead. So awesome! It's great to have you on. And yeah, you got quite the lineup there, so we're excited to hear. I like that you're just in this little dark kind of grey room with just a row of whiskey. I kind of feel like, if I was in solitary confinement, that's exactly what it would look like. I love it.
Yes, I was trying to find. I've not really had any sort of. We've only moved in here into our new house like a few months ago, and I haven't had many interviewee, phone call-y, videos type situations. I think the only one I actually did was 2 weeks ago when I had to do my personal license refresher exam. Everybody's favorite. I was like, oh my god, get the premises license taken off us if I don't do this. Poor crap. So yeah, and that's the only time I've done it, and that had to be a lot more boring at our kitchen table with so no, this is just a wee sofa, and the whiskey doesn't normally live here, but I thought it would look prettier.
Definitely. Mike used to sit in his garage just surrounded by whiskey, because you've been evicted from a few places, weren't you? Because you were evicted when you bred another child and had to put the baby in there, and then you were in the garage and you got evicted, or was it too cold in the garage? And now you're back in the kitchen.
Yeah, through winter it was too cold, so I came into the kitchen, and there's just so much crap that I have to climb over in the garage at the moment. All the whiskey's at the back room. We have pipe dreams of turning that into a whiskey room. I have pipe dreams of turning it into a whiskey room. Tori has a dream of just having a second sitting room / office. So yeah, all went down there because we needed to empty out Killian's room for when he was moving in there. And now it's a nursery for Bria Rose. But here's a tip for you guys: if your whiskey collection gets too big for a small room, move it in a bigger room. It looks smaller, and then you get a little bit more leeway on buying more whiskey. So,
Yeah, life hack right there.
Yeah.
What are you enjoying, Ian? Have you got a whiskey in your glass tonight?
I do. It's a very special one, actually. It was in this very fine decanter back here, and I was like, oh, I should really have a dram tonight for this chat. And I was like, oh, what have we got? I was like, oh, nothing in the house at all. Because I'm quite bad. I'm more of a I'll open a bottle, get through it, instead of having lots of open ones that I'll go to. So, and I don't even have all the FIB stuff here because I was away on holiday a couple of weeks ago, or was it last week? No, last week. And no, 2 weeks. Oh, who the hell knows? And Andrew Andrew had all the FIB samples and stuff like that in his house. So I haven't even got FIB samples bar one. Very official looking bottle which didn't pass the quality test. As you can see, there's a nice impurity in that one. So.
Oh yeah.
Oh, okay.
So no, in my glass is actually the only thing I had in, which is my Kunsel dram, which is a very fine, not distillery, but a fine blended malt called Glenorchy, 5-year-old, 40%, probably coloured to high heck, and it's a little special. So that is my dram tonight.
Nice. That's good. That's a good one.
Have you had it before?
I have had it. Yeah. My alcoholic ex-husband used to love that whiskey, but it's nice. It's good.
Oh, happy memories then. Oh, bloody hell. I've ruined it already. To be fair, it's quite a nice looking bottle actually. They go for the triangular ones. I was like, oh, that looks quite nice. It looks like kind of the old Hague ones or something like that, a wee bit. It's
generally a nice whiskey. Like, there's nothing wrong with it at all. I actually really liked it.
I can't even remember who makes it. If it's Whiten Mackay, or if I think I looked it up once, but I can't remember. Or if it was an Angus Dundee. I'm not sure.
Yeah, I remember it got out there on the internet about, because it was like, it had quite a good following. Everyone's like, what is actually this whiskey? I'm sure it got out on the internet about who made it and what it was, but I can't remember it either. Actually, I bet if we googled it, we'd find it easy enough.
Yeah, probably. Yeah. But it's not bad. No, it's not half bad to be honest. But it stands against everything that we go for, I suppose. But sometimes we all need a wee Kunsel. I can't afford to drink the posh stuff all the time. But if I'm not having, we try not to drink our own juice too much as well because it's not profitable. So usually, if I've got I'll to be honest, I usually just buy mainly indie stuff at the moment, just from whoever we're exhibiting. Our indie pals at festivals and stuff like that. I'll grab a bottle from Paul or from Woody, or I need to get a fragrant drops next. Actually, I've never actually owned the fragrant drops, so I'll have to go and see Rachel at the next, and George at the next. At the festival at the weekend, and sort that out.
Who else are you looking forward to? The guys? Do you get the chance to go around and speak to the guys?
It's one of those. Probably it's one. I wish we did more. I wish we did more. If it's a festival that has 2 sessions, then usually you'll say hi at the interval or something like that, and but even then, it's more of you're trying to survive and recover in that period. Or to be honest, the whole festival vibe totally depends, I suppose, whether you're driving to it or not, or so if you can have a wee dram or not, or if it's an away day. That's usually the good times that you do actually get to hang out with folks. Say we do one down in Newcastle every year or something like that. And another indie one, and yeah, so that's we're all staying over, so that's good crack. Then we get to properly enjoy each other's company.
I mean, they're such long days though, aren't they? You must just be knackered afterwards and just kind of want to just sit down in a dark room. Talking is exhausting. It's a lot.
Yeah, no, to be fair, it's good fun though, and especially the people that came to this one last year were we knew loads of them, and we met loads of new people that are great, and it's a really keen bunch who love their indie whiskey. So you're not spending half the time being it's not just a festival where people are where's your distillery? Where is it? So what still do you use? I'm no, not that. So no, it's good crack. And I actually like how David's one is just one, proper sesh. The 2-session ones are killing me these days. I struggle with my energy in the second session. So I very much like the format this weekend. Thumbs up.
I think what we found great about last year's one, and hopefully that's followed into this one, is the punters, the customers are very much whiskey people, rather than a group of guys in a night out and just wanting to sample heaps. Other festivals are great, but you always get that kind of element to it where people just paid 20 quid or 30 quid, whatever the ticket, and they just want to drink as much as they can. They're not really interested in the stories behind any of the whiskies. Whereas what made this one really special is that it's specifically marketed to that group of people who will be interested in what you have to say, taste it, give great feedback, probably buy a bottle, and move on to the next stand. I think it was such a good vibe last year.
No, it was really good. No, I'm really looking forward to it. And I think last year, I remember it was the same, because it was the last day of the Six Nations last time as well.
Yeah, you had that release out, didn't you?
We did. Yeah, we did. We had because we do one every year, or we do a couple actually with it's a bit kind of, we do lots of random bottlings with anyone and their dog, but this one's really, we love doing this one. It's with a forum on Facebook, just a big group called the Scottish Rugby Away Tours Forum, and we've been members of it for years because we go to away, but it's got lots of Scottish away games and stuff, and it's good crack. So we got in touch with the admins a couple of years ago and said, could we do a bottle for Six Nations, raise some money for like one of their charities and stuff like that. So yeah, we had the France game was that evening, and we had a bottle out for that game, because that we do one themed on like one of the Scottish away games. So no, that worked out quite well that we had that bottling and it was on that day. And what was it? And the interesting thing that happened was we picked up a Frenchman during the festival, who was really interested in the bottle. I think he's called Martin. Crap, I've been messaging him on WhatsApp during the rugby, and I'm gonna mess it up. But I think he's called Martin, and he was over for the festival, and I think he does a whiskey reviews. He's a blog. I think he's a blogger as well for one of the big whiskey websites. But anyway, yeah, he ended up coming to watch the match with us afterwards at the Port of Leith distillery, and obviously France ended up winning comfortably at the end, and he did not hold back. He was giving the whole place like, Viva la France. He was like, and every time Scotland got a penalty, he was like laying into the referee and being like rubbish. And he was intense. It was good crack.
Yeah. Excellent. Well, we managed to beat them this year, but that was it.
Yes, it was. Yes, it was an interesting Six Nations, but I don't know what we learned from it. We're good at beating France sometimes at home, and we can beat England. We know that. We can't beat Ireland. We know that. So
I know it was off the back of us beating France. Everyone was so positive, thinking, "Oh yeah, we're going to win it. We're going to win it." Come on, England! Hopefully England beat France and all that. And I was like, we've got such a bad record in Ireland. I don't think we've ever won a Six Nations match in Ireland. It's just like we're going to get a hump.
Oh, it's crazy. We've never won at that particular. It's the Aviva Stadium in Dublin. We've never won there. Like Scotland never have, and neither have Edinburgh, or neither have Glasgow when they've been playing like Leinster or been playing in a club final or something like that, or club knockout rugby. Yeah, terrible record. I think it was out like 2008 or something like that was the last time we beat them away. Back when we had the good forwards, but a horrible back line, which had like Dan Parks kicking all our points, and that was pretty much it.
Do you know, I miss Greg Laidlaw. Can we not just have Greg Laidlaw back?
Yes.
He was my favourite. Let's have him back. Everything was so much better with Greg.
And he's obviously does a bit of whiskey PR these days, doesn't he?
I think so, yeah. A few rugby people are into the whole whiskey scene, kind of branching out. Just before I lose because I can't scroll back down in the chat because my mouse is broken, but David Stark saying that your guy is Martin Logan, aka Wolverine, that you picked up into.
Yes. Did he say aka Wolverine?
aka Wolverine. No, that's banging. I
can see that. Yeah.
Must have good sideburns, or maybe really pointy fingernails, or a mixture of both. I don't know.
I think he did, and he had long hair. I think he had good sideburns actually. Yeah, and maybe just maybe he's ripped his shirt as well. I didn't see him with his shirt off. So
I think it's because his last name is Hogan, probably.
Oh yeah.
Oh wait.
Yeah.
Okay.
Good call.
That makes much more sense. Much more sense. Good shout there. I mean, if you just
have like titanium steel fingers, series.
I mean, if you just picked up a random Frenchman who just got in your car and ripped his shirt off, like that would be red flags from the start. To be fair, like, no, sorry, do you want to just make your own way there? He also said that you're an old git because you can't handle the 2 sessions at a whiskey festival.
Literally, I have no response to that. Yeah, honestly, I feel old now. Yep.
Yeah, you know, it's I struggle with. Do you know what it is when you sit down and they give you some food and you're just like chilling out and you're like, and then all these people just start turning up again. You're like, what? No, I don't want to. It's always fun when you get going again, but it's always like another 4-hour session. You're like, I'm not going to be finished like stupid o'clock. But no, we all love it. It's all good fun.
It is good fun.
I think we've got Diego joining us as well. I think so. Hello, Diego, too.
We've got We've got Vicky Elliott as well watching.
Oh,
She's
yes.
looking forward to tonight. She loves FIB. We had her Vicky on a couple of weeks ago. Fellow Fifer as well, I think.
Say again, sorry.
Vicky Elliott.
Yes. All right. Yeah. What do you say? Sorry. They love FIB.
She's excited. She loves FIB. So she is coming to say hello. Looking forward to that. So I guess we better not disappoint and let's talk about FIB. You know, what's the story behind it? Obviously, yourself and Andrew are kind of running it now, but you kind of inherited it or kind of.
Yes, yeah, no, exactly that. We did inherit it, and it was our pal and like lifelong friend Aidan Burt, who was the founder along with myself, and he was the kind of financial backer of FIB when we started back in, I don't know when we registered, but we started doing the planning everything in 2021. And so me and Andrew had known Aidan and Aidan's family, Aidan's brother Callum, and our whole life, because his parents were good like university time friends with our parents. So we were just family friends with the family. And I mean, some people will have seen Aidan at whiskey festivals over the years. Well, to be fair, mainly Fife. I don't know if he ever went to Hampden, but if anyone was at Fife, like back in 3, 4, 5 years ago, he was there every time. You would be able to recognize him. He had a huge wheelchair, got progressively drunk, ran people down. Could talk your ear off. So me and Andrew, we were just big friends with Aidan our whole lives. And then he was in a wheelchair because when he was really young, he was paralyzed and he was a passenger in a car crash. So he had a quadruple spinal fracture. So he was fully paralyzed from the neck down, which obviously is like a really extreme injury. And it's quite shocking to a lot of people. We grew up with him since we were like kids, so it was just normal to us. That's what Aidan was like. When he got to university, he got into whiskey. He was bloody clever. So he was studying classics and languages and all that. Or was it just? I think it was just classics. He went to the University of St Andrews. My brother did as well. He was a clever one. I could never. Oh, yeah. I was the musician by trade, so I didn't really need brains for that in an academic sense. So no, he was a massive academic, but then eventually got really into whiskey at uni and decided to chuck all that and studied brewing and distilling at Watt. And then he got really in. He was involved. He was the president of the Quake Society in St Andrews for a couple of years, which is like really old whiskey society. It's been going on for like decades. And he got into indie bottlers through inviting them to do tastings and stuff like that. So he was massively into Compass Box. Bit of a random one. I don't know. Do you have any Compass Box in the shop, Mike? Or?
We don't. We did try it a few years back. It it was still, well, I say it's still quite young. It was quite new out as a brand. But was it 20 years they celebrated last year or this year?
Yeah, I've been going for ages. Yeah,
forever. But yeah, well, we'll have to look back into it because when we took it in the first time, we probably didn't know enough about it, and blend was still kind of a bad word, kind of.
Yeah,
yeah, it's probably something that would do well.
But it's not. It's funny though because it's not one that I'd ever really. You never see it anywhere often, I suppose. I never, apart from in our warehouse, we've got a kind of whiskey bar in there of all of Aidan's drams, and he's got about 50 compass boxes. So yeah, loads of compass box. So if you ever want to try really cheap compass box like $3.50 a dram, random industrial estate in Kirkcaldy is where it can be done.
Awesome.
But yeah, so anyway, Aidan got really into indie bottling. So he had Compass Box along, and he had Kenny MacDonald along from Dramore. And yeah, I think it was, to be honest, I think it was mainly Kenny at Dramore who I think Aidan was like, oh yeah, I want to do this. So so yeah, he obviously he had an amazing palate for whiskey, but he, you know, because of his condition, he couldn't do all that. Obviously, he could do everything on the computer and whatnot, but in terms of running a business, so that's where it just been COVID, and I was doing another job. I had a very luxurious job as a bin salesman, more glamorous than it sounds. So I was so anyway. I was after furlough, and I thought, do I really want to go back and do that? So it came at a good time where I thought, you know, me and Aidan decided that we'd do this together. And started buying casks and all that, and hence FIB started. We launched the first whiskies in 2022. We didn't really know what we were doing when we started. We were using another bond up in Auchtermuchty. They looked after all our casks, did our bottling, all the re-racking, cask management for us. But yeah, Aidan had a great nose, great palate. And he got us into whiskey over the years, I should say, because when he used to take us on like distillery tours, we'd do one a year. So we'd go to Elgin and do all the tours around there for a few days, and then we'd go to Inverness, likewise, go up north, go to Islay, Arran, and yeah, so we went around like 30, 40 distilleries together. So like, yeah, he was the kind of guy that after he'd had a few drams, he'd start telling the tour guide they were wrong and stuff. So that part wasn't great. Like, you know,
we've all wanted to do it, haven't we?
Yeah, but yeah, everyone thinks that Aidan did it. Aidan said it. But yeah, so we started FIB and we didn't really know what we were doing. We brought out 1 million whiskies. They were quite high priced as well in terms of price. Aidan thought that to be taken seriously, we needed to bring out our first release should have at least 8 whiskies in it, which was not a fun idea in hindsight. Trying to sell and market all these slightly overpriced whiskies, and it was mainly because, you know, we were new to it, and Aidan was a bit trigger happy when buying casks, so he bought anything and everything that he was offered without really doing the sums. And then I was doing the spreadsheets like, how much are we selling? You know how much we're gonna have to sell these for? So yeah, that was the start of FIB. And don't get me wrong, he got some awesome drams, and we did some really cool cask finishes. We can get into that a wee bit more. But yeah, that was kind of the start of FIB, I suppose. But then, sadly, we lost Aidan only 5 or 6 months after it started, kind of unexpectedly. And yeah, so and then he ended up leaving me and my brother at the company, and that was unexpected. I didn't. So yeah, at this point, a few years ago, I wasn't expecting to be in the position that we're in. Obviously, we've got the company, and and all its crippling debt, and not that. But no, it was so yeah. So my brother, and shortly after that, my brother Andrew, I kind of kept it going for about 6 to 8 months, and then my brother Andrew, who sends his apologies for not being able to come on tonight, he's away for a pregnancy scan with his wife, not himself, obviously. And they do, and it has announced that they are expecting. It's not. I'm not just like ta-da.
Yeah, there's a 12-week scan done today.
Yeah. I think they're due in May, so it's much further along than that.
Excellent. Congratulations to
yeah.
both.
So that's been really good news. So yeah, he sends his apologies anyway. But no, he came on board, and he's great at his background was doing. He used to work for Eden Mill up in St Andrews originally. I don't know if people have good or bad opinions of Eden Mill. They seem to have a mixed reviews in the whole industry.
Yeah, we get that. We had Vicky Miller on a couple of weeks ago. Who's
really? Oh yeah, because she's got her new venture, of course, with the yes,
and obviously was it her dad that founded Eden Mill?
Yes, he was one of the founders. Paul and Tone, I feel like it was the Miller and the Kelly family, possibly. So yeah, Andrew used to run their gin school up in St Andrews, and it doesn't exist anymore. But it was like under the Russet. It was in a really fancy location. It was under the Russex Hotel, on the pretty much on the 18th hole, and it was just a wee blending class where you could go and make your own gin type thing. So we did that for a wee while, and then he ended up going and doing. He was the chief distiller, the head distiller for Crossbill and the Barrowlands in Glasgow. He ran gin classes for that as well, but they're a bit more intricate. Like, you get your own still, choose your botanicals, distill your own type thing. Yes, then we nabbed him because I couldn't run the business by myself. I was still dying. But now the two of us have been doing it for the last two and a bit years ourselves, and the releases have changed. The concepts that we still do are still the same, but no, we just we have fun with it, and we got our own bonded warehouse about 18 months ago, which is amazing, because we can now do everything. We're now completely in control of what we do. But anyway, I've been waffling on for about 10 hours there, but that's the basic background of how FIB came about to the kind of present form, I suppose, with us two kind of blundering our way through the world of whiskey.
It's exact. Well, I asked the question, so you've answered. That's all you can do, really.
I know, could have been more concise, though.
I mean.
Good story is a good story. We want all the details. That's some origin story. It's not one that we've ever had a similar one of. Like it's
slightly unique. Springer G is raising a glass to Aidan. We'll do the same.
Oh, cheers!
Raise a glass to Aidan.
Cheers. And he'd be very disappointed if he knew what I was drinking. Because he had the most amazing whiskey collection, and we've got pretty much most of it in our wee tasting room in Kirkcaldy. We're now like selling it by the dram after tastings. If people like want an extra dram, we've just kind of priced them all pretty cheap. So there's all kinds of wacky stuff. But yeah, it was going to Aidan's house was a nightmare because he would just get you absolutely buttered, and he had no concept that you had to drive the next day, or he just didn't give a crap because he never had to drive anywhere. If he got too drunk, he could just pass out, and it was acceptable. It's not the same for us.
I love
He's absolutely taking full advantage of the situation there, isn't he?
Oh, totally. And he always milked every tour that we ever went on as well for like, he was like, he knew he's a position that's with like a serious disability. He was like, I'm going to get everything I bloody can out of this distillery or whatnot, like proper red carpet treatment, like the whole time.
Right. Go for it.
It's so refreshing to like the fact that you guys are obviously just so used to him and his ways that you can just talk about it, because sometimes like when people have got just like when people come to the distillery, for example, and you want them to know that we've got stairs, we've got cobbles, we've got raised surfaces, and we can't really do anything about that because it's a protected 230-year-old business building. But you don't want to upset anybody either, because you're like, if I tell you these things, you're going to think that I'm like targeting you. Like, so it's just like really refreshing. Like, listen, you're just like, do you know what? I'm on a wheelchair. I'm going to do whatever the fuck I can get to get really good dram. Like, I'm just like, I love that.
Oh no, he loved. I think actually, it was quite eye-opening that a lot of distilleries aren't very wheelchair accessible friendly. Not like some of them were like not at all. It was like you can come into tasting room, or maybe you could get into a warehouse, but that'd be about it. But then some were equally, some were amazing. We did one at His uncle used to work for Grants, so we went to Balvenie, and they let him like just like actually go on the malting floor, like, you know, just just creating like leaving like tracks, skid marks. Yeah, I think he had barley coming out of his wheelchair for like months after that, and he absolutely loved it.
I'm so excited.
It's so difficult.
Feature Barley Angels
Because, like, you can't do a barley angel. Like, you try, but they don't. It doesn't stick in the shape. It's too. Well, yeah, it's not sticky enough to stick in the shape of a person. But yeah, it's so difficult because you want to be inclusive to everybody, but at the same time, like, you're restricted. You can't widen doorways because it's a protected building. And everyone that I've spoken to that have asked about accessibility are always just so understanding about it. Like, you know, they totally get it, and I feel so bad. But we do have flat routes for people, and obviously just avoiding the upstairs and things. But you got things like Cabrach, which deliberately built a distillery for it to be accessible. It's all like a flat route as well, which is fantastic. And it is much easier if you're starting from scratch with these things in mind, which of course you should be if you are starting a new distillery from scratch. But yeah, there's not that many of them out there. So not easy. You're getting a lot of love for Aidan on the chat as well. He's obviously, a few of the guys have met him, and he's left quite a lasting memory with a few of these guys by the looks of things.
Oh, totally. He was like, yeah, he would, because he was a big character, like proper big character, and yeah, we had lots of fun. Yeah, we inherited a few wacky things from him, such as his. I mean, if you're ever in the warehouse for a tasting, then you know we've still got his Lord of the Rings helms in there. He's got like big busts of Theoden, and we did have a Sauron. We moved Sauron. We thought Sauron was a bit, you know, bit bad vibes. We've got Eeyore and Theoden up on the cabinet, and he had a collection of about 80 to 100 swords, like film and fantasy replica swords, like really nice ones. So he was really into his like The Witcher and Lord of the Rings, Game of Thrones, and The Hobbit, and so he had like every sword known to man from these. I mean, so yeah, so it was quite funny because we had our little warehouse in Kirkcaldy the whole time since we started, but it wasn't a bonded warehouse when we started. It was just a store because we needed somewhere because we were selling whiskey off our website. As well as just we went down that route of selling it direct, as well as going through whiskey shops. We needed to get a premises license for somewhere, so we rented the place in Kirkcaldy. It's only tiny; it's only about 750 square feet, the whole thing. So the main purpose of that was just to store the finished whiskey after we got it from Achtermachty Bond, all bottled up, and then ship it from there. So that was we had that from the start, but yeah, we had about 80 to 100 swords and axes and sickles and all kinds, and shields and all kinds of battle and a staff, if Gandalf's staff, all kinds of yeah, all kinds of paraphernalia in there. So when it was only when we were applying for the bonded warehouse and we were getting our inspection, I was like, we need to move these swords from the cupboard, don't we? This is not okay. this is gonna be a weird. So if funnily enough, if anyone's on the chat, poor mum and dad have still got all these swords in their garage at the moment, and we don't know what to do with them because we can't sell them. There's a lot of laws have changed recently in terms of the sale of bladed goods and stuff. So if anyone is into these films or fantasy and is interested in a specific sword, drop FIB a DM. You know, well, maybe don't drop FIB a DM. You can drop me a DM. We could agree a safe handover in a non-stabby way. Yeah, but yeah, it was a bit. So that was a bit left field when we started.
Right. So who came up with the name FIB? Where did that come from? Is that?
Yeah, FIB. It was actually Aidan who came up with it. And it wasn't the first choice, actually. If you look on Companies House, you'll see it was first registered as Kilrimont Distilling Limited, which was the old Scots name for St Andrews, because the whole Fife element in the business is Aidan was a very proud Fifer. He grew up born in was it Kirkcaldy or Dunfermline? No, born in Kirkcaldy. and then lived in Couris for most of his life, and then for university went to St Andrews, and then after uni, he then built a house in St Andrews, that was suited to him, and that's where he was latterly. So he was proud Fifer. So we the whole origin of the company was going to be about Fife and all things Fife, and so Kilrimont was originally the old name, Scots name for St Andrews, but then I think told too many people about that before he'd registered it, and funnily enough, I think it was Eden Mill who we were speaking to before trademarked it. And I don't know if they've ever used it or not, but they trademarked it. But to be honest, I think that was a good thing, because I think FIB's a much better name than Kilrimont or Kilrimont, because you don't even know how to say it. So yeah, although to be fair, quite a lot of people say FIB or whatever, like Thunderbirds style, or but yeah, FIB. It was the reason for the name FIB is because so Aidan's late dad, Jack, was a big expert in Scotland on standing stones and Pictish history. He took a massive interest in that, and he even wrote a few books about his famous one that he wrote with another chap was called The Pictish Panorama, and they did loads of books on all the standing stones of Scotland with Pictish carvings in them. So because of that, and sadly Jack died a couple of years before Aidan. Aidan was really that FIB was a backup plan, because FIB was the old Pictish name for roughly the Kingdom of Fife. So back kind of historically, when Scotland was the north of Scotland, was Pictland, and it was divided into roughly kind of 7 counties. FIB was where Fife was, and it was the kind of it was one of the Pictish kind of capital almost. And yeah, there's all kinds of myths. It was all FIB, the Pictish kings, was meant to be called King Cruithne, and he had 7 sons and divided the land into 7, and FIB was one of the sons and all that. So yeah, a lot of people think it means Fife Independent Bottlers, but it's actually so that was a happy accident, to be honest. It's actually the old name for Fife, the Pictish. Aye.
I might be wrong here, but FIB, he was the 7 sons, wasn't it? Yes. One of the sons was Che, or he, I think it was pronounced, and that's where we get the name for our local hill. Because I think I'm in the middle of reading a book called The King in the North, and it's nothing to do with Game of Thrones. It's about the North Pictish kings, and one of the sons was Che or Chi. It's spelled CE, and it's where we get the name for the hill Benahee. It's the hill of the people of Che. That's what it means, and that's. So our king, I think he was one of the sons, and this was one of the kingdoms given to him. So.
Oh no! Well, I mean, that's the whole. Obviously, the northeast is like mega. The northeast and Fife is where all the most of the Pictish stones are. That's where like most of the. We've got a fun little book in the warehouse, which is just a little kind of scrapbook that Jack kind of wrote about the men of Fib and all the kind of Pictish folklore. Andrew's much better at all this history type stuff than me. I just stand and pour the drams normally. In a kind of so no, but it's no that would totally make sense actually. That's like Aberdeenshire was like a mega Pictish stronghold, and we have fun with like stones.
Yeah, we have Riney at the top of North Hill was kind of the Mecca. They reckon there's a population of about 8,000 Picts living in the area there. You would think it to see it now, but it's fascinating. I was saying to you guys off screen, I was a bit late because I was looking for a book, and that was the book I was looking for.
Oh, cool.
I thought there might have been that, Pictish. One of my drams tonight is the Tricara. It's a double link because obviously the standing stones.
Yes.
This is the Glengeary. So there you go, Kat. I've managed to sneak in your dram there as well.
I just realised I've got your standing stone Glengeary, your stone circle one. Give me 2 seconds. I'm going to go offline. Oh. Well, no, I'm not going to take my camera off. 2 seconds.
We've got some good comments coming in. Alan Smith is on saying good evening. Great to see Iain as a guest. always tell my whiskey buddies to visit the FIB brothers at festivals. You are the nicest guys in whiskey, which is great.
I can't have met many nice guys, to be fair.
Paul McKenna said he met Aidan once at a white festival. His passion and enthusiasm for whiskey was evident. I reckon he'd be delighted where FIB is now. It's a nice touch, Paul. Thank you very much for saying so. David said, I met him once and always smiling. David Stuck, obviously the organizer, or one of the organizers of this weekend's festival. A
very fun Aidan story. If you'd be, Stone Circle, awesome. I'll quickly do this before, and then obviously tell us about it. It's a bit of a silly, sad one, but Aidan was never, even like you say, he was never shy about talking about his disability or whatnot. And he actually did a really good interview with my wife once. It'll still be on. So my wife's a journalist and she works for the National in Glasgow. And when we started the company, he did like a really in-depth news article feature. So it's super out there, and he chatted a lot about his disability and challenges, and it was, it's proper, it's uplifting stuff that he came out with, stuff that I'd never really heard him say all that much. But yes, we had one during one of our not tours. It was when we just arrived at Dalmore Distillery on one of our whiskey pilgrimages. We were in the reception shop, and Richard Patterson walked in. And obviously Aidan's like, oh, big fan and stuff like that. And it was a funny cringe moment where Richard, like, he was half cut. He just during the day, but he walks in and walks straight. He obviously spotted Aidan and like, oh, here's a guy in a wheelchair. I'm gonna go and make a good thing of it. Walked over to him and he was like, how are you doing? And he just like held his hand there for ages, because obviously Aidan's paralyzed. And it was so long, and Aidan was just like laughing at him, and he eventually like awkwardly was like, oh, pat him, and then he was like, oh, run away.
Pat him on the head.
Oh god. So that was funny. Yeah.
That's brilliant. How do you recover from that? I don't think patting somebody on the head is how you recover from it, but yeah.
You probably wouldn't remember.
What an amazing moment. Funny. That's absolutely hilarious.
Oh.
Yeah, sorry, I found your bottle. So one of my favorite Glengearys, not that I mention Glengeary on a regular basis, but Mike, this was Mike's kind of your own kind of label that you did for a while for the whiskey shop, wasn't it? And you kind of based it, because Mike's an avid kind of Pictish history type fan. Like, we're both really into Scottish history, but you really quite like sort of Standing Stones and Pictish stuff, Mike.
Yeah.
But this is like one of my favorite Glengearys that I've had, and it's one of my favorite stone circles because it's really, really cool, because the way it's kind of positioned, like literally is in line with Benahee, and it's just kind of, if you're going to fall through a stone circle and land back in time and find some big ginger bloke, chances are it would have been that stone circle. That's an Outlander reference if you haven't watched it.
Yeah. No, it's I've seen it all. I've got a fun story about that one as well, actually.
Based on a true story, I thought, wasn't it? Outlander?
Yes, exactly. Yeah, 100% factual.
Before I was doing whiskey full time, actually, but it was during COVID, between stuff, I was doing bits and bobs of extra work. So I was actually in Outlander a few times, which is quite funny.
Really?
Yeah.
You know, Sophia, Cat Heads, she's an extra for Outlander too. She was called back every year for it.
Oh, amazing! I probably would have seen her then. Yeah, I met and Mark Connolly, who does the Hamden Festival and runs all the Arran stalls at festivals. I met him at doing it as well. He does all the extra work. I've not done it for years.
I think Kenny MacDonald was in it as well, wasn't he?
Was it? Okay. I think not been in it.
I know. How could he not be? I mean,
yeah, I wasn't. I was ill that day.
It's so yeah.
So who were you?
Do you still
were you just an extra, or did you get a speaking part?
No, I was just an extra. My one claim to fame was I was a hand double once for a character also called Ian. Young Ian was the guy.
Nice.
And it was very posh that day. It was just at the Cumbernauld studio, but I got my own trailer just to be a hand double for the day.
Wow.
So yeah, I just had to. My hands was in this. I had to hand someone some coins on camera close up, and that was it. It was a bit that they'd filmed wrong or they'd forgotten to do, and they couldn't be bothered getting the main cast back in for it. They only needed a hand, so there you go. Yeah.
That reminds me of
because it was like a full studio full of people, and I'm not, it was a pressure situation. I was like, just hand the coins over to this lady, and I was like,
just the hang.
I was saying this to, I can't remember who I was speaking to, but we had a film crew in, like, they were doing some filming and photography at the distillery the other day, and they said, right, just walk down the middle of the warehouse normally and we'll film you. Just do what you usually do when you walk down the middle of the warehouse. I'm like, I don't often walk down the middle of the warehouse, but cool. But when somebody asks you to do something completely normal, it's like your brain forgets how to function. And I was like literally like walking like Lady Penelope from Thunderbirds, like, is it okay? Like, could you just do a bit more normal?
Oh, no, I could relate to that totally. So true.
To be fair, when people act naturally, it's asking for trouble.
It is, but that would have been your best moment if Outlander, if you just whapped out one of your swords from your warehouse and just took on Sam Hewen and be like, step aside, I've got this, and just like kind of went full bung.
Yeah. Oh God. Yeah. Because I did a few scenes with him, and it was like, it was weird. I was almost tempted to be like, Sam, whiskey, FIB. I was like, I'm not going to say anything. That'd be bad. I'll probably get kicked off set. Because obviously he's got his Sassenach thing, doesn't he? And is it Loch Lomond? Yeah. Loch Lomond do that for them, don't they? Aye. But no, so standings. Yeah, the good link to Standing Stone. Yeah, that would definitely. That sounds like it would be a pretty enough stone circle for Outlander for sure. And that's really cool. I didn't know you were so into Pictish history, Mike. We'll have to do something Pictish, something Aberdeenshire Pictish for you.
So we had the we released our stone circles. So it was an idea for our kind of shop exclusive, our first single casks, and I wanted something that was with the area, but also had enough to do a wee series. So it was either going to be stone circles or castles, and I thought the stone circles is pretty cool because I don't think anyone's done it yet. And it literally was 5. We released 5 because I thought if we survive 5 years, most small businesses fail in the first, or if they're going to fail, it's going to be in that first 5 years. So I thought if we get that 5th one out, then we've made it over that hurdle, and that was kind of a little personal goal. So we kind of chose some stone circles that kind of had a nice story or something behind it, and then went looking for casks. So it was an annual release. The Easter Quirthies was the 4th one, I think, which is a Glengarry one. And then we did an Ardmore as well, which was based on the Donadeer Stone Circle, which there had been cremated remains found. So we thought cremation, Ardmore, smoke.
Yeah.
We didn't put that on the tasting notes, like burning flesh. didn't quite make the cut. But Donadeer is also very close to Ardmore Distillery, so it was a.
That works well.
I grew up at the bottom of Donadeer. It's a very cool. It's all vitrified, so it's like the sort of, there's a kind of big archway kind of left like an old window, but it's such a cool place because when I was a kid, like people used to go up there on solstice and kind of like dance around, and this is pre Outlander, when that was kind of normal to see on TV, but it's quite a cool, creepy place. Loads of rabbits though, so we used to go up there to roll our Easter eggs down there, because there were so many rabbits. You'd roll your Easter egg down the hill and just lose it down a rabbit hole, and you're like, oh Christ, I've lost another one. But it's very, very cool Pictish fort. Although, is it Pictish? Does it predate, or is it?
It's Iron Age. So yeah, I think 800 AD. I think is the first. I mean, there's been a fort there for years, but what's standing is Pictish.
The Pictish here, obviously, because it kind of it just the Pictish people that get kind of blended into everything else eventually, and like
Yeah.
last-
It's when you look into it, and people think it was the Romans v the Picts, and it was like this big battle, and then we beat them and they ran away. The Romans were in the UK for about 600 years before the Picts were even thought of or known. It's mental. I think the issue we have in history wise is that we can only go by relics. We have no written record, and any written record we have is the Romans, because they're the only ones who kept records.
Yes.
There wasn't like a communal language that they would have Picts and.
No, that's why Andrew always says that the written history that they left, the history that they left was basically carvings on standing stones, which is really cool, and that's why we kind of base all of our bottle designs when we're doing our kind of FIB releases, like our official releases that are not bespoke for someone else, and we'll always base them on Pictish. So we've got our kind of like for example our wolf, that's like our fife. So we've got a few Pictish animals that we use that are kind of emblems. Some folks will have had the beastie before. So we've got on our blends, we kind of use the four Pictish, a few Pictish carvings. So we've got the beast. The beastie is a funny one because that's obviously our company logo as well, and it turns up on standing stones all over the shop. And Pictish stones, and no one really knows. Like all the other carvings that were on there were kind of, you could tell what they were, whether they were wolves or horses or dogs or tools, but the beastie is just a weird one that's always there, and no one really knows what it was. So Aidan quite liked his dad Jack had a little Pictish. We'll have it at the festival the weekend. He had a little Pictish stone replica.
Yes.
That he had on his work desk. So we based the logo loosely off that, off the Pictish beast. And no one really knows what it is. It looks a bit like a seahorse type kelpie sort of thing. It's got a cool mystique about it. So we use it. We try and tie. You're mentioning obviously using Ardmore as the distillery for that release, because it was like the closest one to the stones. So we try and do that. So whenever we're doing our blends, we've got our kind of different Pictish animals that we'll use for, the beasties, our double sherry blend. The wolf is our fife blend. We'll be doing the boar in summer, which is our double red wine blend. And then we released the Pictish Alliance, which is like 2 crossed seahorses. I haven't actually got that one here. I think Andrew's got it all. And that's a really cool carving. So we do that as our sparkling wine, champagne sparkling wine blend, any type of champagne on the bottle type thing. So we've got our kind of the Pictish animals, but then when we're doing single casks, we do this. Well, we do this kind of before and after. Whenever, 4 times a year we'll release 4 different blends, and then we'll release some single casks. But we do a kind of fun before and after type finishing thing with them. But whenever we're doing the artwork for these single casks, we'll try and find like the most local Pictish stone to the distillery that we can, kind of like you were doing there. So I think the only one I've got here is like this Tamdhu, for example. So these have got the Pictish stones outside Inverhaven Parish Church on them. They're no longer against the wall there. They've actually been moved inside, but that was their kind of original placement. We always try and tie something in locally with the artwork. And I should give a big shout out to them. The artist that does the work is a girl called Orla Stevens. All the Pictish artwork, and she's really, really good. We actually, speaking of the band, we first knew her when we met her at an open mic night because her sister sings, and then discovered that she was an artist, sole trader, doing her own thing, and we got her to do some album artwork for us, and then that led on to, could you do whiskey? So she did, and she's if you look her up, she's a really amazing Scottish artist. So I hope that we don't get, because she's doing really well now. So I hope that she doesn't get too big for us, because she's really good.
Sure. Get her tied down to a long-term kind of fixed fee contract.
Oh yeah, actually, you probably need to start paying her a retainer. Actually, But yes, we do need to get her on some new artwork soon, actually. So that reminds me, I better drop her a WhatsApp on the group in the morning. But yeah, we do a fun. So the before and after finishing thing was when we started FIB. That was Aidan's whole thing he wanted to experiment with, which was this before and after series, or known as Copper and Oak and Permutation series, which we've kept calling it them. So his idea was, the blending side of things, he would never really, he'd never got to that yet. Basically, that was something that me and Andrew decided to do, so that we could. I mean, the blends that we do have only got like, it's usually only like 2 casks or 3 casks, 1 malt, 1 grain, or like, so it's really hardly, and we give them good finishes, and we did them to try and do cask strength whiskey that was a bit more affordable, basically, instead of obviously some folks for core ranges are kind of watering it down a wee bit to make it more affordable, but we thought we'd introduce a little bit of grain to make it tasty but affordable. But yeah, Aidan's idea was before and after finishing. One example I've got here, which is I think the only before and after pairing we currently have, is these are a bit weird. Aidan ordered these. These are from Amrut Distillery in Bangalore in India.
Wow.
So Aidan was big friends with Ashok, who was one of the I'm not sure what his exact title is, operations manager, or I'm not sure. So before Aidan died, he'd actually ordered some casks from Amrut, and then they ended up turning up, and we were like, oh crap, the Amrut cask get a notification from like import customs, and we're like, what the hell is that? Oh my god, it's the Amrut that was ordered 2 years ago. But we do. His idea was to do whiskey before and after finishing. So what we do is basically get a cask of whiskey from the distillery, bottle half of it without doing anything to it whatsoever, so long as we're happy with it, obviously. And that would be the original Copper and Oak series. And Copper and Oak was meant to be because it was the influence of the oak and the still from the original distillery. And then the permutation series, for the remaining half of the whiskey, we'd re-rack it into something else, give it a finish, and then release them as a pair, so you can try the same single cask like before and after finishing. So that was Aidan's big brainchild of FIB, and that was all the first releases that we did were before and afters. So we still do them like 4 times a year, where we'll split a cask. So we'll showcase it as it came to us. No independent bottle or influence whatsoever, apart from slapping a label on it, putting it in a bottle, and then finish the other half. And it's really fun to do at tastings, especially blind tastings, because you can really catch people out. Like the Indian one, for example, or we had a McMira out that we did, and did the first one, and it was like a green tea cask. People were like, "Oh my god, it's Swedish! This is so weird."
You had it last year, yeah.
Yeah, we did, yeah. And then we'd finish that in like in a Amontillado sherry, and then you'd give that people blind as the next dram, and it'd be like, "Oh yeah, this one's Scotch. This is good. This is." It's like literally the same dram, 3 months in a sherry cask. So no, it was a really cool concept. So we still do that, and we'll keep doing the Copper and Oak and Permutation series, and in Aidan's memory, alongside the kind of Pictish blends that we do as well. But yeah, so sorry, that was a wee bit about the range, I suppose.
That's very cool, though. So if you do a blend that's predominantly Glengarry, there is a very good standing stone near Inverurie. It's called the Maiden Stone, and it's got some really pretty. I can't remember exactly what the symbols are, but they've got really good symbols. I remember going on school trips up to, and you had to put your tracing paper on it.
Yeah, I think the Pictish Beast is on there as well in some form.
I think you're right. Yeah,
because I think the reason they call it the Maiden Stone because it's because combs and mirrors and things like that. They thought it must have been in memory of a woman.
And then when Christianity came on the go, they tried to link it to, obviously, these bloody pagans. So yeah, let's link it to the devil. So it was to do with a woman's lack of virtue, and her on her wedding morning making a promise to a dark and handsome stranger. Like, wait, not only is this paganism, but it's woman's fault. Let's link it to a woman that's chased down by the devil and turned to stone. So there's like a notch out the top part of the stone. And they say that's where the devil reached out and touched her shoulder and turned her to stone as she was trying to flee him.
Oh no, he didn't. The devil didn't turn her to stone. God turned her to stone.
Oh, because she was so unvirtuous because she couldn't make pancakes on time.
No. So So she couldn't make her bannocks in time. So basically,
Let's hear the man's version of the story.
so the maiden of Balwine was making bannocks, pancakes, whatever you want to call them, in her croft the morning of her wedding. And the stranger came to the door and said, I bet you I can build a path to the top of Benachie before you finish making your bannocks. And she's like, no chance. You know, they're nearly ready. I've got half an hour in the oven and they're done. And he says, well, if I win the bet, then you have to take my hand in marriage instead of Tam the farmer. I'm not sure what. We never get to know his name. And you know, that's the women's side of the story coming through. You never get to know the husband's name or the But
that's the main takeaway from the story, Mike. Yeah.
So anyway, it turns out that the stranger was the devil, and anything he touches, or he could do whatever he wanted. So he built what's now known as the Maiden's Causeway, which is a great big granite path that you can walk up the hill. So he came back, and 5 minutes later says, "Right, I built your path," and instead of saying, "Well, okay, I'll marry you," instead, she kind of sensed some tomfoolery and ran away. So he gave chase, and at the sight of the maiden stone, she realized she was going to be caught, and she prayed to God to help, to save her. And he turned her into stone. The only way he could save her soul was to turn her into stone, so the devil couldn't get it. And the shoulder is the last bit of flesh that was remaining when the devil caught her. So he managed to steal her shoulder, but not the stone.
Oh, well, there you go. That sounds like a great whiskey label. Love it. Sold.
Definitely.
Yeah.
He could have.
Oh, it's been done. Sorry, mate. I've got it.
You do.
I've got 6 releases.
Have you?
Well, that was the first one. I know it seems weird. It's called Stone Circle, and this is a standing stone. But because it was called the Maiden Stone, we used that as our maiden release.
Yeah, no, that's cool. Yeah, that's great.
I'll let you. Yeah, you can, as long as you don't call it the Maiden Stone, use the picture, the story, or the whiskey. You can have the rest.
Oh, that's fine.
You
then.
copyrighted it though. Did you do an Ethan Mill and copyright it?
I've got absolutely no copyright on that whatsoever.
No, that's really cool though. Do you know? I'm speaking of Glenn Geary. Do you know? We were really friendly with Greg Walker and Diane Flynn. Do you know Diane?
I know Diane. Very well. Diane. Yes, Diane is lovely.
Yeah,
I've got a lot of thing for her. She's got synesthesia too. She's very, very cool. So we kind of deal directly with Diane for any sort of single casks that we're releasing, but she's awesome.
Oh, that's so cool. I'll maybe need to see if she can nick a Glen Geary cask for us. Or not pay for buy legally, obviously, for money. But no, because Greg, her fiance, they're engaged, aren't they? Yeah.
Yes,
they're
fiance, next year.
Yeah. He's really good to FIB, and he runs a little thing called the FIB Whisky Club.
Yes, yeah. Because
Mr.
McKendrick was over doing a tasting for them.
Oh, are you?
No, Mr. McKendrick was over doing a tasting for them, and that's when
yes,
I
yeah.
Too.
Yes, they do tastings at the Old House in Kinghorn. No, it's great, and we've done some fun little bottlings for them, just of 20 bottles. We did 3 series of we've done 3 Cameron Briggs actually, in various forms, like a bourbon, an Oloroso, and we're doing a 30-year-old one next month. But yeah, just because it was we put the 3 bridges of going into 5 on them. But no, so Greg's been a really good supporter of FIB, and he's a really nice guy, and he was born and bred Kirkcaldy, so he knows everything about Kirkcaldy that we don't. Because me and Andrew are the fake Fifers, but yeah.
I know we were hearing about this fake Fifers, honorary Fifers, surely.
Honorary Fifers, hopefully, by now. Yes. Yeah. But no, it's good. It's good fun now.
I love the whole concept, the brand story, and as Mike said, there isn't really anybody else kind of focusing around that kind of Pictish vibe, which is very, very cool. Do you have any theories about what the beast could be, like the random beast? Do you have some conspiracy theories what you think it could be?
The beastie?
Do you think it's a water horse?
Yeah, it's kind of I think it's probably a kelpie type, or water horse or kelpie is the thing that I've kind of been most tied to. But kelpies obviously weren't very nice. And there's some brands that do. I was trying to think of other brands that use Pictish. There's the new one in Inverness. That's the new distillery, Ullavesh. They kind of use a big evil-looking kelpie in some of their stuff, or some monsters and stuff. But no, I'd probably say we've got a little plaque outside we're very hard to find as a warehouse because we're disguised as a wheelchair shop. So you'd never suspect a thing. We're right next to a store called Fair Price Mobility. So whenever people are like coming for tastings and stuff, we're like, oh, try and find the beastie. And there's like a tiny plaque of beastie. So people usually find it eventually.
I think all the swords leaning outside the door might be the giveaway.
Yeah. The fact that Sauron's outside going like this.
I know, yeah. You shall not bloody well, Gandalf, but no, so what about any theories yourself, Kat, on the old beastie?
I like the idea of it being a water horse or a kelpie because that's quite because I love silkies and I love kelpies. I love the idea that because there's just selkies are obviously just there's loads of seals in Scotland and everyone they look like people in the water, but there are so many myths and legends about the selkies. People are obviously seeing something big in the water at some point and not understanding what it was. So whether we just had massive, I don't know, salmon or something at the time, or there was something there, I don't know. It's a nice theory. But I don't know what else it could be. Some sort of. I mean, I love a unicorn. If I could have a unicorn and just ride one into work, that would be awesome. But it doesn't look like a unicorn, so I don't think it would.
National animal of Scotland and all that, isn't it? So
yeah. I love that.
Most of the time, you're kind of the horn is flat, is kind of
like pushed back.
It's kind of like a horse's mane, almost, isn't it? The way it's. And it does usually lie sideways as well. It's not vertical. It's not diagonal like we have it in our logo. It's usually lying flat like that.
Yeah, it's normally like a drunk or sleeping horse.
Pretty much,
yeah.
But
I wonder if it is just a horse. I mean, there's a lot of who knows.
It could just be a very nicely decorated horse that we've all thought way too much into. But we can't say that because then Andrew will have nothing to talk about during our tastings. So no, it's mysterious. Mysterious.
Who were we talking to, Kat? Who? Oh, it was the Oh, there is.
It's going to have to give me some context because
about the origins of a unicorn, and it was just a horse that walked into a tree and got a stick stuck in her head. It was the lasses who did the shows in Edinburgh, Jane and
Christine.
Yeah.
Christine, who does the singing. Christine, the Whiskey Witches girls.
Whiskey Witches. Yeah. That was them, and they thought I mean, I don't think they thought that, but it was a possibility that somebody just saw a horse who was walking through the trees and walked into a tree and got
just had a bit of stick stuck to their head. It happens to me every time I go for a walk. I don't. Yeah, and that's just ruining the romance of a unicorn. I just love that Scottish people are like, right, guys, choose your national animal, and they're like, fucking unicorn. No, seriously, guys, choose a real animal, unicorn. I'm telling you, unicorn. We're going.
I mean, it was rather messy. So
well, yeah,
that's true. Yeah, we had some good choices.
We just make up animals. It's just like, if we can't get Nessie, we'll get the haggis. You're like, no, it has to be a real thing. Well,
it's not in the Welsh, isn't it? They've got dragons, haven't they, as their national animal?
Yeah.
England, is that lion? Yeah, pretty mundane.
That native animal thing.
Well, Scotland's having a unicorn. We're having a bloody lion.
Yeah.
What's Ireland's national animal then?
She's a lot of shamrock.
I don't think that's an animal. I'm not David Attenborough, but I don't think that's an animal.
Is a leprechaun an animal?
I love that we're just random, we're properly stereotyping.
I think Ireland must be something like a Kelpie as well. I would imagine it's something very Celtic or.
Yeah, I think. But no, we really enjoy doing all the Pictish labels and artwork. we find
there's so many places you can go with it, isn't it? There's so many stories, so many myths and legends and stuff.
It's endless, and we like we do one bottle a year, which we kind of because generally we try and price things like, well, we always try and price things sensibly, so because we want people to drink whiskey, we don't want them to like collect it and sit on a shelf. But once a year we'll push the boat out on like a cask that's something that we wouldn't normally do, like something that's a bit more spenny but really tasty, and we'll call it our Legends of the Pict series. So that's where we'll like choose, like, this was an actual watercolor that was done by Orla, and this one's about maybe you'll probably know better than me, like, then it's the Battle of Dun Nectain, or Nectan's Mere, which was the Picts against the Northumbrians. So yeah, once a year we'll kind of do this is our first volume. This is a 16-year-old Glenrothes. But yeah, this was the story about Andrew always tells it that when we've got a nice fire-breathing beastie on it, because apparently when the Northumbrians came up in the year something, I don't think we put it on the bottle, a long time ago, in Scotland, far away. But apparently when the Northumbrians came up, they got when they got beaten by the Picts and they went back down south, which was, was quite a decisive battle, and it kind of shaped the way that Scotland's history was, went on to be. But yeah, apparently they were too ashamed to say that they got beaten by these kind of disorganized Scots type things, so they invented a story about a fire-breathing beast that came out the trees, and that is why we lost the battle. So yeah, so no, you're right. There's so much we can do with it, and like every time there's lots of awesome carvings, and mirror and comb's a weird one. Like, we do get people at a festival being like, "Why haven't you done that one?" And I'm like, it's not the most exciting logo of all time.
Yeah.
But it's only actually about, we've been moving more into or not more into, but we found that we've been doing a lot more bespoke bottlings of late, like the last year or so, especially since we've had our own warehouse. We found a bit of a wee niche in doing that, because we kind of discovered that a lot of kind of whiskey companies don't have the time to kind of do, say someone comes to you and says, "Oh, I'm getting married, can I have like 2 or 3 bottles for my wedding, or can I have 20 bottles for my club, or for my charity, or for this event, or just for whatever, to be honest, or for my wee football team, or big football team, whatever." So yeah, we've just been, we decided not to discriminate against inquiries like that, and we found a good label sort of printer who'll like supply small volumes, and it's pretty much the same price as we get large ones at. Like, it's affordable, and it was limited when we had the other bond doing things for us. It wasn't possible because they'd have minimum charges for doing things and part bottling fees and this, that, the other. It just became, but there's no trouble in me and Andrew just nipping into the warehouse one day and like bottling 4 or 5 bottles from a cask or something like that. So we've been doing loads of that recently, actually.
So that's something you're continuing to do, because honestly, that's like things I get asked constantly. I'm in a whiskey club. I'm like, this, that, like little requests, with bespoke labels. I'm like, no, we don't do that. But good to know you do.
We do. No, I think it's probably about 50% of everything we do. It's kind of like, it's bespoke stuff. Whereas obviously everyone's got their own thing that they do in terms of indie bottlers. Like, some of them will mainly do export and stuff like that. We've never really tried to develop the export side of things. We dabbled with it, but then we found that people just wanted such low prices. It was just like, is it worth doing this, the time and the effort? So we found a nice wee niche just doing that. So we have great fun, like ordering all kinds of labels. We did. I was designed, my head's mashed today because I was proofing 13, 14 different wee inquiry ones, including like a pet shop down in Durham, like just for fun, but like kind of like with his pet shop branding on it and stuff like that. So no, it's good crack. So, and we do some. I found one in the garage actually that we do. Like, there's a wee shop in Inverary that we do whiskey for, like with our logo on fine malts. Inverary.
We know all about them. Yes. We get phone calls quite regularly. I bought a bottle, and when can I pick it up? Just looking up. We don't have you. Yeah. I bought it on your website. No, you haven't. Yeah. Inverary, no, Inverary.
Yes.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
No,
Other end, please do not come here to pick up your whiskey.
Oh my God.
It's like 5 hours for nothing.
Yes. I mean, it takes long enough for me to get to Inverary from here in Glasgow. But
you
it's a really
probably
nice shot, that one, actually.
It's nice.
Not the big one, not the
Lochfine.
not Lochfine, but the wee one.
Yeah,
it's run by Andy.
Just at the end, the bottom of the street, isn't it? Just at the right hand side. It's a beautiful little place.
Yeah, it's nice people that run it as well, Andy and Carol. That's the main thing that we find when we're dealing, because we don't deal with that when we're dealing with trade. It's mainly just we independent shops that we get on with, and we want to mutually support, and it's good fun. So no, Andy and Carol have been great. You just give them a little bit of sample stock, and away they go. Away they go. So it's good. Yeah.
I came very close to having an independent bottling, completely focused on picked land, shall we say? So just before COVID, and we had the labels done. It was going to be called hand picked, but PICT. And then COVID came, and there was 3 of us. You'll know probably Ewan from Pitlochry.
Oh yes, and I've met him. I've done.
And Michael Hanratty up at Dornoch. He was kind of the brainchild of it, and we thought this was going to be, we were almost there, pushing the button. We had the first bottle selected and all that, and then COVID hit, and we thought, well, we kind of really have to look after our own kind of shop and business and staff and that. And then we thought, it was literally about 6 months later, we thought we really should have gone for it, because, look at what's happening. Nobody knew what was happening at the time. Kind of really rounded the wagons and thought, no, we need to kind of focus on what we're on doing. Probably hindsight, we thought, Christ, we should have went for it. And then there'd have been another one.
Nobody could have foreseen what COVID became and how people changed their drinking habits during COVID. That would have been a massive crystal ball moment, wouldn't it? But
100%.
In terms of indie bottling, how do you see the market? Are you seeing kind of casks becoming more available? Are you getting a better selection now, price wise? As well? Is it? It's mental, wasn't it?
Yes, it's no. Right now, it's like casks are very available. All the big distilleries are generally struggling, and a lot of distilleries, big and small, are struggling. So a lot of them are now, offering out whiskey that they haven't before, that they've kept under lock and key, or some of the bigger companies are starting to deal with smaller ones like us direct, instead of turning the nose up. We've even had some contacting us, selling direct to sell casks and stuff. So no, everyone's. I think a lot of the distilleries are after a bit of cash flow just now. Obviously, while it's not the best time for the market, and we found it a tough time as well in terms of sales. Like, a lot of whiskey shops are kind of being a lot more cautious in their spending, because obviously there's not as much going out the door. I mean, it totally. I can't paint them all with the same brush though, because it's interesting dealing with lots of different whiskey shops, because we find the ones that do well when it's kind of a bit quieter, like it has been of late, are the ones that are innovative and have cool things going on. Like chats like this, and they're creative. Whereas it's the ones that suffer are generally the ones that just sit there being like, oh, no one's coming in my shop, and they're not doing anything to make it happen or whatever. But no, it's been tough. We found bottle sales have been very much down, but because we've been doing a lot of the bespoke stuff and reactionary type stuff, we've been having a lot of we've been doing a lot of another reason my brain is scrambled today is because we've done we've just brought, this one's coming out tomorrow, which is a Scotland having qualified for the World Cup whiskey. We tested the water and did one of them like at the end of last year, and everyone went like, it was just a silly little artwork with like a Statue of Liberty with a cone on its head, like Glasgow, and then people just went nuts for it. So we did a couple of them, and now we've done we thought we'd do something. We thought we'd follow up with something a little bit. We'd give it a bit more thought. So this one we've paired up with the Tartan Army Sunshine Appeal charity, where we're donating like a £5 a bottle, and we thought we'd just find a grain that had been distilled in 1998, the last time that we qualified for the World Cup. So we're doing that. So yeah, I'm full of paper cuts today because I think we put it on. It's going on sale tomorrow, but we've been doing pre-orders since last Friday. And yeah, no, so that's been going well. We're through like 140 bottles already in a week. So it's the reactionary type stuff that we've been doing. We've found it's been the stuff people have been buying. The normal Pictish stuff, which is some of our favourite whiskies, the sales have been down on them generally overall. But no, we're having to find ways while the market is quiet to try and be creative.
It's a brilliant way of doing it. Yeah, get something while it's popular and on trend. And
yeah,
I love how you've just got this row of whiskies beside you, and no matter what topic we bring up, you goes, well, actually, here's something.
It's all part of the I just want. I had to ferret through the garage, and I was like, oh god, I better have something to talk about.
This might come up. This might come up. This might come up.
No. Well, no, we've pretty much exhausted the row of whiskies now, so I can't play that card anymore. But yeah, how have you both found it in kind of different viewpoints of the industry as well?
Kat, you go first. I'm going to grab a glass of water.
Yeah, so obviously everyone's kind of reduced production a little bit, just kind of following the sort of trend of the market just now. But we were just looking at, I think we were speaking about this a couple of weeks ago on here, but we've actually done okay for January, February is kind of like our shoulder months, sort of quiet months, but we're definitely up on visitor numbers. So even though the sort of whiskey itself, like the liquids, maybe not as buoyant as has been the last couple of years, there's definitely still footfall in terms of whiskey tourism. And we're seeing, I was speaking to somebody today actually who was saying that just with the impact of sort of global conflict and uncertainty of international travel, Scottish tourism has picked up again. People are kind of looking at home tourism this year as opposed to maybe looking at. But again, on the flip side of that, we've had a couple of cancellations coming through with just people kind of not wanting to fly. So we're doing fine. I mean, we're doing all right. We're still producing. Our bookings are full for the year. So yeah, I mean, we're just riding the storm just now, and just making the appropriate changes as and when needed. But there's a lot of doom. What's it? Doom mongering, doom scrolling, kind of doom.
Yeah, and I get, but I don't like people doing it. It's like, oh, come on, like be this, because some people, like I was saying, some people are more upbeat, like if they've got a thing that they're doing, But yeah, people like to buy into the doom.
Yeah, misery loves company and all that, as the wonderful John Bon Jovi once said. I think somebody said it before him, but we love John. So yeah, bad news always sells, doesn't it? But there's so many positives in the industry as well. So yeah, we're kind of quarter way through the year, and tourist season's a way to hit, and it's all looking good. So I'm taking that as a positive, to be honest. And Glengarry's been mentioned about 6-7 times in the chat, so as long as I can keep subtly banging that in there, pay my wage.
I like it. Well, you'll have to recommend if we were to buy a single cask of Glengarry, what age and style would you most would be your choice?
That is
11-year-old repo bourbon.
Okay. Say again. What did you say? Sorry.
An 11-year-old repo bourbon.
Yeah, so Glengarry's got such a good new make spirit. I love it in a bourbon cask. There's this point in the 90s of Glengarry that I absolutely love, and it's one of those weird, like nearly every distillery's got this kind of point in time that nobody can quite figure out why that was a good bit, but it just seems to work.
Like the Nevis effect type of thing, yeah.
Exactly. And the last couple of 90s Glengarry's were released 91, 92, 93. I tried 98 out the cask the other day in the warehouse. All just really good, but I don't know. Depends. I haven't got enough money to buy a 90s Glengarry, so if I'm wanting something cheap off you,
but No, that's good. No, so refill will be quite good though if we did like because that might be quite nice to do like showcase the spirit and then do one of our before and afters. Worth it as well. So showcase both the original and the finish. So we can do that. I love it.
100%. Diego, could you not have the word Glengarrian Sex Dungeon in the same sentence, please?
I love it. I absolutely love it. The Glengarry Sex Dungeon. Even the initials sound dirty. GGSD. It sounds like a disease you would pick up in a sex dungeon.
In the Glengarry Sex Dungeon, obviously. Yeah.
No, we're not. There's no connotations there. Thank you very much. You're going much more down market distillery for that. Thank you very much. I do not endorse that at all.
When the story breaks in 10 years of what was going on at Glengarry, we'll be the first to say it was mentioned. So.
I mean, saying that.
100% a boutique label.
It better not be 100%. Do you know what? No, if the boutique you're doing Glengarry label, if it doesn't have a cat on it, then I'm not impressed. But it's definitely not having any sort of sex dungeon connotations on it. However, Glengarry does work really well in a big old sherry bomb. So, like, you know, we could pop it in a sherry bomb and kind of call it Leather and Lust, but we're definitely not calling it the Sex Dungeon edition of Glengarry. My DMs are weird enough without putting that on a bloody bottle.
I guess you could have. You could have I don't know, a pirate with a cat of nine tails whip. Yeah.
No.
Alluding to a dungeon. Thinking out loud.
I like that. So yeah, keep them coming. I like it. Yeah.
Yeah, I think we're a bit more farmer and like Tuchter than we are dungeons and pirates, but we're not a Mills and Boone novel. Like, seriously. A bit more greenhouses and tomatoes than pirates and
the shades of cat.
But yeah, you could.
Anyway,
if you do it,
sensible question.
I don't know what's no, it's good. I like it. It's fun.
Yeah, go for it, Mike.
Ian is asking what do casks of new make cost in the trade these days?
It's a good question. I mean, to be honest, it's a good question because we don't really buy new make very often. Because we, to be fair, yeah, we don't. We tend to buy stuff that's nearer bottling age, because the thing is that we find that quite often unless you're obviously if you're buying new make by the tanker full, and then you're filling your casks, then it's you can buy it mega cheap. But we've often found that buying new make is if you're buying it from a big distillery, it can be really cheap, less than $1,000 for a cask. Hopefully, but then equally, you see the whole thing can be. You see these bloody cask investment companies trying to sell you $5,000 casks of new make online all the time, and it's really bad. But no, we obviously Aidan bought quite a few casks of new make when we started off. I think he paid about £1,200 for hoggies of Speyside, which is probably a little bit much, to be honest. But no, yeah, if anyone's trying to charge you lots of money for new make, it's probably not a good thing. But then it's hard to paint all distilleries with the same brush, obviously, because then you could get brand new distilleries that are only filling like 50 to 100 casks a year. It's a bit more special than just like bog standard. Here's your Tullabarden, buy your Tullabarden new make cask for $2,500. Don't do it. But yeah, we funny. We do find that we often buy like 8, 10. The difference between buying new make and slightly older malts that are nearer bottling is not that different. And because we're such a small company, we just buy stuff when it's nearer ready for bottling, and we can still sell it at a decent price because cask prices are generally all right right now. So I'm probably not the best person, I'm sure, to you get, like, for example, Lady of the Glen, Paul, they buy new make all the time. They're laying down stuff all the time. We're a very small company compared. I'm not compared to Lady of the Glen, sorry, but I mean just in the whole indie bottler world, our whole portfolio of casks is only about like 50, and it kind of stays at that level. We'll bottle some, we'll buy some, bottle some, buy some. Our warehouse only we can only fit 40 in our warehouse. It's very small. So it's we're genuinely small business, because we always think that me and Andrew are always surprised that like a lot of like indie bottlers and stuff. We always think that we're all kind of small, and then we'll be chatting to one at a festival, and they're like, "Oh yeah, we've got like 100,000 casks." We're like, what the? We've got like 40. Like, Jesus Christ.
Is that quite a challenge for you guys? Because you were just saying a minute ago how it's kind of like a buyer's market for you. A lot of distilleries are selling casks they wouldn't have done before. So is that quite a challenge for you to be like, oh my gosh, that'd be a dream to have a load of that cask, but we literally don't have any room for it in like stows, like, or
it's not the totally. It's one of those that we obviously do have accounts in other warehouses where we can send stuff. Like, we have got younger casks, only about 10 that aren't in our warehouse. The off Speyside and a few Hollyroods. No, it's one of those. We just need to. It's just kind of managing the cash flow, I suppose. It's too easy to always be trigger happy when, like, if you've had a load of sales and be like, oh, I'm gonna buy a cask, put one. Then it's like, oh god, I keep buying casks and I still have no money. It's like at some point you need to kind of stop buying casks, and I guess we probably normally buy about a year out from what we're planning to do, unless we've got anything that's a bit special or something that comes up. But no, new mate should be very cheap, generally in answer to that question. And it's funny, we do get quite a lot of people. It's a shame, we do get a lot of people who are like private individuals sometimes coming to us trying to sell their cask that they've got, and but it's like they paid so much for it from like a cask investment company or whatever, and but no, it is scary, the kind of the rates that you can get from some of the bigger companies of in particular, like go on. Sorry.
I was going to say, there's been quite a lot of pushback by some of the big kind of whiskey writers on socials and LinkedIn about all these AI generated kind of adverts of, oh
my god, yeah,
sat next to these casks, just invest all your life savings and you'll be a millionaire. We saw it before, but I think AI seems to have maybe had another kind of flurry, and I think you've seen kind of like,
there was a couple with a cask just sitting in their dining room.
Yes.
I think it was David Stark, wasn't he, who put a post, or Neil Murphy, or one of these kind of guys.
Yeah, this is exactly how it is.
No idea how dirty that cask is.
Oh my god.
But yeah, you get the idyllic distillery on the coast, and then they've just got like random casks spread out all over the place.
Yeah. You'd like to think that that's obviously not real, but I think when we saw with the original, when Kenny MacDonald was involved with that expose documentary, I think we just saw people's kind of lack of awareness really of what the nuances of the whiskey industry really is. As Scottish people, we think we know about whiskey, but we probably don't know. I mean, investment, and like whenever I'm speaking to Paul and he's talking about like sort of some of the parts of his job, sort of like that side of things, like cask buying, investments, the paperwork behind that, I'm completely clueless about all of that. And I work in the industry. So you imagine that most people out with the industry are trusting what these kind of experts, these brokers are telling you, and buying in good faith and handing over money thinking, oh, I saw that bottle from Macallan sell for £250,000. So of course that cask must be worth that. So I totally see how people are, I've got all amount of sympathy for people that are actually looking at these things and believing it, because a lot of them, I mean, that picture of the cask on the dining room table, if you believe that, then I think you maybe need to have a word with yourself. But a lot of the other things, here, take my money, put a cask on my dining room table.
I think there's a lot of consumer error in that. I know the industry has been shouting about it for years, as don't do it, or not don't do it, but be very careful, and it is, you're right, Kat, they've specifically targeted people who have no connection to the industry. They're looking at and these are the guys who get hoodwinked. But you've got more sympathy than I do, because I think if you're going to pummel, I think one person on that expose spent like 75 to 100 grand on casks. I mean, you never buy a car without a test drive. You never buy a house without viewing it. Why would that amount of money you've
Yeah,
got
and when you get the sad thing about like some of these casks never even being filled or existing, it's crazy. We found that that's what we've had a lot of joy with the kind of small batch bottling thing. It's because a lot of people think they have to. We get a lot of people who have bought a cask and then they're like, oh, I don't know what to do with it. Like, will you buy my cask because I bought a cask? But I don't want 250 bottles, and they told me that the tax bill is going to be this much when we bottle it, like $5 grand. Like, well, yeah, and then so it's like, well, so that's why we've just it's been nice offering out. We've just got like a price list of all these casks that we've got, and it's like this is the price for one bottle. Like, don't worry about bloody buying a cask. Just if you want your own bottle of whiskey with a label on it, then you can. Because a lot of people buy these casks of whiskey with no idea what they want to do with them. And then that's the
biggest thing, is it's the end game. People have no idea of the other end of it, and that's something maybe as an industry we need to be clearer about. Is why are you buying the cask? What is your end game? What do you want to do with it? Is it a group? And this is the cost you're going to get. There's bottling fees, there's labeling fees, the duty is pretty much down the same price as the cask again.
I know it's astronomical. The duty always blows my mind. Like, it obviously keeps going up and up and up. Like the UK government, like even going to Fife Festival the other week. Like we were the day before, I needed to take some more bottles out of Bond for more stock just for the festival. So I took like 36 bottles out of various types. And the duty in VAT was 1,200 quid just to get out of the warehouse. It's like, ouch.
It's one bit of advice I always give. People had to say that there's 10 friends or 8 friends, whatever, and they say we want to buy a cask. What's your advice? I said, open a bank account. Each of you stick in a tenner a month into this bank account. Don't touch it until it comes to the end of whatever you want to do, because you'll need that for the duty. If there's 10 of you, that's 100 quid a month going in, and just use that as the savings account, because you'll be hit with charges you never thought of.
I think it always reminds me of one of the most honest chats we ever had was with Phil, who did it's Phil, isn't it?
Phil Fraser.
Yeah, Phil Fraser. And him and just some pals decided to release their own cask under their own label. I think I've maybe still got the bottle here somewhere. And he just talked about the whole process and how it nearly drove them all to despair, and they nearly all stopped being friends. And we're like, at the end, would you do it again? He's like, probably not. But it was so interesting because obviously, like a lot of the guys who were watching, and this was a few years ago when at the time a lot of people were still investing in whiskey. Mm-hmm. It was just so nice to actually just see a really refreshing, brutally honest. Yeah, this is what you've got to do. This is what I hadn't thought about. These are the extra costs. So there's a lot to think about. But that's the question I always ask people, because it's one thing I won't give people advice about is cask investment, because I don't know enough about it. But I always say, what are you investing in? What do you want? Like, do you want to just sell a barrel, or are you going to try and bottle all this whiskey? Because that's a lot of liquid you're going to be left with.
Yeah, no, that's the thing, isn't it? Yeah.
Or the other side of it is they'll have no liquid because they've bought it. And I bought a 10-year-old 10 years ago, and I want to give it to my son for his 18th, which is in 18 years' time. So they're like, well, that's a 38-year-old whiskey. How much whiskey are you planning on passing on to your son? And what do you want him to do with it? Yeah,
that was the one thing that also scares me about having whiskey in other warehouses. Like, obviously, the great thing about having a ridiculously tiny warehouse that only has official racking space for 36 casks is we can eyeball them all every time we go in, and like if there's a leak, we'll see it. But I keep seeing like so many posts through like Lady Glenn, for example, like poor Gregor, like he's had a few leaks recently. He got a letter from Diageo the other week being like,
this is what I'm on just now. Actually, I'm on the Glen Scotia 8-year-old recently.
The port one, the
port cask, so good.
Yum.
The bottle level doesn't do the justice of how long I've had this and how much I've drank.
But no, like I saw Gregor, like generic letter from Diageo being like, dear Gregor, whatever, like, oh, we're doing routine checks for casks, and we came across this one, and there's nothing in it. Sorry. I was like, oh, fuck's sake. So that's the one thing that scares me about having casks in another warehouse is you can't eyeball it. It could just be because we've seen it happen. Like temperature when temperatures change between summer and winter, and obviously we've got a tiny space so it can heat up and cool down, casks shrink. They can suddenly just decide like, nope, I'm leaking now. And if you weren't there to see it and be able to re-rack it within a few days or a week or so, then there'd be nothing left in a few months. Scary things.
Was it last year or a couple of years ago? There's the story about the Springbank. Somebody lost a cask. It was like the estimate value is about £250,000, and they'd missed like a couple of insurance payments, or the insurance had lapsed, and they went to reinsure it. Got in touch with the company, and the company were like, "Oh yeah, your cask's gone. It's leaked. And because they missed out on the insurance, they had no backup. They just basically lost. And that was through a broker, probably a cowboy broker. Just and that's what they look for. That's what they expect. They want people to forget insurance, pass it on to somebody, lose paperwork, God forbid, die, and this paperwork is just lying about and nobody knows what it is, and that's what they milk it on. It's horrendous. I think we've opened a wound between Alan Smith and Springer G, who are watching. Alan has said, "What Muppets would buy a cask without an exit plan? Lol." And then Springer G has replied, "Absolutely mind-boggling." I wonder if they've got a cask sitting there and they're like, "Well, what are we going to do with this now we've got it?" Absolutely love to hear that story, guys, if you are willing to share.
Yeah, I know. It's a tricky one, isn't it? It's not going to change anytime soon either, because, I think the whiskey is always going to have, it's a luxury good, right? So there's always going to be people out there willing to take advantage of it. But who knows? Maybe there'll be some sort of regulation put in place at some point. But then you've got people who obviously understand fully. You've got Iain, who said he's got 4 casks, and he was aware of tax and bottling when he bought them. So
well, if you've done your research, totally, and you know what to expect, then you're not going to get any surprise. And I do think it's a really cool thing to do as more of a syndicate with multiple people in it, like all of you teaming up. And my uncle did that with a few of his mates, a Springbank of all things, like and they got so I think they split it between 5 or 6 of them. My uncle had 30 bottles of like a 20-year-old single cask Springbank, and I was like, oh my god, if you'd held on to that for for a bit longer, you'd all be very rich now. But that's no, I think doing, and that's the thing I always say to people when they're like, we do get people like, even with the World Cup whiskey that we're selling just now, we'll get people messaging being like, oh, how much is it going to be worth something one day? And I'm like, what do you want me to say? Yes, of course it is. Buy many. But no, it's like there's, single cask. There's lots of single casks out there. It might be, maybe if Scotland win the World Cup, it will be. But it's the same thing for buying casks. So like, I would never buy a cask for investment purposes as such. I think it's just like, it's more of an amazing experience to have of having your own whiskey. Like, this is yours, this is your whiskey, and I think that's when it comes down to it. Whiskey's all about. We had a really nice tasting recently, actually, in the warehouse with the Stonehouse Whiskey Club. And because Paul does the Stonehouse Festival, and he will have done a tasting down at down for the guys as well, won't he?
Yeah, I think he was down doing it recently, actually. If he's still but he does know those guys, And
it is like one of the best whiskey clubs, and one of the most, and it's an awesome whiskey festival as well. It's happening for the 3rd year this year. I think it clashes with the Royal Mile Whiskies Edinburgh Whiskey Fringe, so a lot of people don't go to that and don't know about it. But like it's an absolutely incredible festival in like the most unlikely place, because when we first turned up for a tasting there, we thought we were going to get killed because it was like a lodge. It was, and there were Rangers murals everywhere, and we're like, we're not going to be welcome here, are we? But then they were like the most enthusiastic, most amazing bunch of people. Great, the most structured tasting ever. I feel like I had a point to going. What were we talking about before this Stonehouse thing? Why did I go on to
investing in casks?
Oh, sorry. Yeah, it was the meaning of whiskey and stuff like that. We had the Stonehouse committee in into the warehouse for a wee tasting, and because we do like a little festival bottle for them every year. So they were in basically choosing their next one. And it was really nice. It was just like proof of like what whiskey's all about. And basically it ended up being like 4 or 5 grown men like greeting, because they were all going around the table talking about what the most special whiskey moment was to them, like sentimentally. And that's what whiskey's all about generally. Like a time when you had a dram, it might not be the best dram that you ever. They were talking about what was the best dram you ever had, and it was mainly about where you had it, who it was with, special things like that. And that's what whiskey's all about. You know, it shouldn't be about
nearly every week we say the exact same thing, and it's proven time over that often people's best whiskey is not, like a really old Macallan that was found in a shipwreck. It's like just a Glenorchy off the Liddles that, we were out with your mates, and it was like, that kind of moment in time where you're just enjoying it. Yeah. It was just good fun.
Exactly.
And that's what it should be. That's all about, definitely. Although I think I would love to find a whiskey that was on a shipwreck. Maybe not a Macallan, but like shipwreck whiskey sounds cool.
Yeah, something. Yeah, that'd be cool.
What was the one that they found in a castle wall? Where was that? That was like recently, wasn't it?
Blair House, wasn't it? Where the or the one more recently than that?
No, maybe.
They found they reckon it was the oldest whiskey. And it happened to be where the keepers of the Quake meet every year.
Oh, okay, that's cool.
Because they got whiskey sponge, Angus to sample it in. I think it had been re-waxed or re-sealed at some point. And
yeah, imagine being the first person to try something that had been buried in a wall for 500 years. I'm like,
oh my God, I've got some unknown disease that is no longer curable.
Pleurisy. Oh my God, I've got pleurisy, for God's sake. Yeah, that's kind of cool.
Yeah, that is nice.
Whiskey. So I always say like whiskey's like bottled time, isn't it? Like when you think you've got to pick up, like if you like some of the bottle, like the casks in your warehouse or like our warehouse, whatever else. If it's 30, 40, 50 years old, can you imagine like some of the folk that made that are maybe not even with us anymore? It's like, and when you think back to like what was happening in that decade, it is these little, and that's what I love. Like it's just, it's more than just liquid itself. I was speaking to Paul about this as well recently, because we're talking about Dave Broom, and you've got Dave coming up to see you soon, Mike. It's the way he talks about whiskey as well. He always has talked about it as more than just liquid. It's not just you collecting, it's not top trumps of you collecting numbers and maturations and names. It is more than that. It's a cultural heritage. It's those moments we all have of like remembering the bottle coming out, especially if you're Scottish, whiskey came out at christenings, birthdays, weddings, funerals, Tuesdays. So we all have those kind of special kind of introduction moments, but then it's just it's bigger than that as well, because we've all got these different connections, different areas, and the way that you do with the kind of Pictish connection too. There's just so many layers and nuances to whiskey that's more than just, kind of collecting the best release with the fanciest decanter. So yeah, there's a lot behind it, which is very cool, because it means it's going to survive the next couple of years at least anyway and keep going.
The moment in time thing is totally right. And even if it's not like mega old whiskey as such, like I really like, I was chatting to a pal, Laurie, who runs
Laurie Black.
Yes, Bevy.
Yes.
Yeah, really nice guy.
He's lovely.
Really like Laurie. a lot of time for Laurie. Really nice guy. And we both love like trying old blends, and just so like most, every month or two, I quite like because we're Fife based. I quite like dipping into the auction house that's literally next door to Lady of the Glen, the Just Whisky.
Yes, it is. I know this.
Yeah, literally next. So because you can pick up blends there of nothing like exceptional, but in terms of like at the time it was a bog standard whiskey. whether it's like a Hague or whether it's like a black and white, like Buchanan's or whatever it is, or Johnny Walker or something like that, or brands that don't exist anymore. But just getting stuff that was bottled in the 50s or 60s and 70s, and you can pick these things up for like 30 quid, like, or 40 quid, the same price you can pick up something from a decent dram from a bottle, an okay malt from a supermarket. You could try something that was bottled 50, 60 years ago, and it's so different and so good and so fun 100%. just to experience like what was going on back when this was bottled. That's really cool. I love that.
One of my biggest disappointments since we opened the bar was when they released a flight.
Get my charger.
They released a flight, and it's a 70s vintage. So I've got 12-year-old teachers, an 18-year-old white Mackay, and 8-year-old white Heather, all bottled in the 70s. And I thought this is going to fly. And it was like I've maybe sold 1 or 2 flights. I'm like,
really? Oh my god, that would be the first thing I'd get when I came in.
Yeah, the whiskey's great. It's so good, but people just want to go for the malt. They look at it and they're all blends. And be like, why would I drink that? Because it's fucking good whiskey. That's why.
Yeah. Oh, and it doesn't taste like, it's like the old tasting notes of like the, I don't know, like waxy, polishy, furniture. It's so good. They don't make it like that anymore, honestly.
They don't get a chance to, do they?
No.
If they made it like that nowadays, that your bottles like that would be as expensive, if not more, than the malt market, because they would have to be buying this premium malts that people want to keep for themselves.
Yeah. It's a funny rabbit hole I got into, funnily enough, because after we moved, I live in Steps now, just north of Glasgow, and after we moved here, I was just on a wee walk around the woodlands near our housing estate, and discovered, also through chatting into a pal, Craig Simpson, who used to co-run Spirit of Alba down in Kirkintilloch, closed. Everyone knows he's got the purple hair, so he's quite recognizable online. But yeah, there's an old ruined distillery just in the woods next to my house that was closed in the 20s, but then the warehouses were still there until the 80s, called Gartloch Distillery, and it was like a grain distillery that was owned by it was DCL lastly, but James Calder and then Buchanan's, and there's a lot of whiskey history around here, so it got me looking into it. And then the old Buchanan's plant is also in Steps that closed in like the mid 80s, and they used to produce all the black and white and that big blending facility for about 20 years. So it was that kind of local, just from moving here, that got me into looking into the old blends and buying some of them. And I've never gone back, really. I can highly recommend it as a fun and inexpensive way to try really old, not age statement old, but old whiskies.
Yeah. It's
talking of good blends.
Yes.
Ta-da.
Oh, hey.
On brand as ever.
While you were offline as well.
Say again.
I mentioned teachers while you were offline as well.
You did. 70 teachers. Yeah. And funnily enough, that's what Laurie Black swears by. I think is it 70s or 60s teach? I think, or 80s. I can't remember, but teachers from one of these decades is like his favorite whiskey blend.
Didn't know that. That's so cool. So I've been preaching about teachers forever. It is amazing, but like proper kind of old, like direct fired, like bit dirty, kind of heavy. It's just so good, so good.
Have you tried the teachers we've got in the bar?
No, but I've seen it so many times. But every time I'm in your bar, I'm either working or driving or both. Right. So I haven't yet. But one night that I'm not working, driving, both, I'm definitely trying it. Actually, I don't think I've actually just sat in your bar for a drink off shift. Like I think I'm always either driven or I really don't think I've been.
It's like the festival thing, isn't it? Like you never get a chance to actually be somewhere and properly play.
Yeah. Oh, no, tell a lie. The only time I think I've been drinking at your bar was my 40th birthday last year. But I think I've maybe too pished to be actually analysing the whiskey selection.
I don't think we had it in at that point. I think it was later on in the year we had it.
Yeah, no, we'll definitely need to. Yeah, one night Paul's driving, I'll come over and try your. Talking of Stonehouse, I think Paul got. I think it was maybe the Stonehouse Whisky Club. I think it's somebody he knows there got like a 1980s teachers to try it, and it's got that really dirty, funky kind of coal, kind of sooty kind of. Just love it. Love it. So good.
Yeah, love that sort of stuff. You don't make it like that anymore. Anything really.
Yeah, and it's just such a beautiful distillery. I've got so much time for Ardmore. It's just absolutely gorgeous. It's like kind of industrial functionality meets Victorian beauty, like mashup. It's just absolutely gorgeous, and it's one of just the best preserved historical archives of any brand in the industry. They've kept everything. It's like a new pin. It's insanely cool.
Sorry, go on, Mike.
So I was going to say all it needs is a good core range.
Well, Ardmore or teachers?
Ardmore just needs a good core range.
It's one of those. The single casks are generally quite very good from Ardmore, aren't they? Yeah.
Fucking bang! The best, in my opinion. I've said this so many times. If I could buy any distillery, it would be Ardmore. It's got the quantity, it's got the look, it's got the style, it's got the spirit. You buy an indie bottle in Ardmore, and it's 9 times out of 10, it's fucking awesome. You buy Legacy off the shelf.
I'm going to stop you right there. You looked at my bottle of Tabnavulin that my son got me for 23 quid out of Tesco and said, yeah, quality, banging, nothing wrong with it. There is nothing wrong with the Legacy. So 100% there is nothing wrong with Legacy. It ticks the box. It's not pretending to be anything it's not.
Well, maybe we're spoiled.
Because of the high bar that's set by the single casks, maybe.
But the port cask,
like your recovery there, Ian.
The 12-year-old port cask that you get in the same tube as the Legacy is phenomenal. It's one of my favorite ever whiskies.
That was a travel retail though. It was never released for like just.
It was. You could pick it up on Amazon for about 40 quid at one point. And now I'm having to scour the depths of...
I'm just looking at Ian's comment.
Sex Dungeon Hell, Glengarry.
Ian Abernethy just said, Mum and Dad are fighting again. We have started arguing, like bickering on the Blether. We've been doing it for too long. We were bickering last week when Dave... who was there the week before when Dave Worthington was on as well. But yeah, I just think
it's such a beautiful product, such a beautiful distillery. Look at what
all I'm going to say is if you love Ardmore, I would say it's the waiting game, Mike. I wouldn't give in just yet. Like, time brings you all sorts of treats.
I mean, wow. Yeah. If you love Ardmore, don't buy Ardmore from this supermarket. Buy it from somebody like Ian and FIB or Berry Brother or any
100%. Definitely buy as much Ardmore as you like, but definitely don't discount the Legacy because it is such. As is any core range of a distillery, do you exclusively buy the core range of any other distillery because it's your favorite? No. There's less choice with Ardmore, but it doesn't mean it's
Ian, you can go home now if you want, Ian. You can leave.
Oh no, it's fine. I quite like it. We've got I think we've only got one Ardmore in at the moment, but it's being like it is cooked to death in one of our casks actually. It's like mega overstewed, but it has its purpose. It's been in like a French red wine cask. Is the grapes called Mourvèdre. Which is a kind of I don't know. Have you heard? I hadn't actually come across Mourvèdre before. We were offered it by the winery. It's like a big fat red grape that they usually use in blends to kind of beef them up because it's such a big viscous liquid. It's really dry from the south of France. But we've got a good wee thing with a winery down near Perpignan, and they'll send us a few casks a year, which is amazing. So this Ardmore is well overcooked in this Mourvèdre. Like the color of it is stupid. It's like black port. It looks like port. but it serves a very good purpose in our Pictish Boar that we bring out every year, which is like a little bit of that Ardmore, and then which is in the more verdure, and then we've got we'll use a grain that's been in a Banyuls, whether it's a Cameron Brig or a Strathclyde or something like that. So that'll be like the sweetness, and then we'll get the big beefy kick from the Ardmore, but only like maybe 20% of the blend will be that. But yeah, it's one of these ones that we need to check, that we need to. It's funny, as independent bottlers, we always get questions like, how do you know like when your whiskies are ready to bottle, like, and blah, 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 or do you turn your casks or whatever, and like how do you know your whiskies are ready to bottle? And it's always like the copybook answer that we have as well. Oh, we check them every week, blah, 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 make sure that they're and then the reality of it is like me and Andrew being like, oh my god, we haven't tasted that in 6 months. Quick, do something with it, get it out, use it. Ooh. But yeah, that's it's good fun. But yeah, with that the only Ardmore that we've got is well cooked and red wine at the moment. But for those people who like those extremists in the whiskey industry, I'm sure they'd enjoy it nonetheless.
I was just thinking about you saying in the green room, or maybe you said it live, I can't remember, because sometimes I just forget whether I'm live or not, to be honest, but you were talking about Leith the Glen. I'm literally just messaging Paul, that's why I'm saying Leith the Glen. We're talking about fragrant drops.
Oh, yes, right.
And you're saying you hadn't tried or didn't own any, but it just reminded me, I've never opened it. It's the Ardmore. Mike, there was mezcal.
Oh.
Yeah, I got this from you, Mike, but is that the one you really liked?
So good.
I got it from, I think it was Speyside, the indie festival this time last year, because I got it from George. And he was selling them. He had some that were reduced because there was something wrong with the bottle or the label.
They were selling label discrepancy ones for really cheap.
That's exactly it. That's exactly it. And it's obviously been sitting on my shelf for over a year now because the dust on that is obscene. But it's just reminded me that I haven't actually opened that. So that might be
that cooked kind of agave note that you get from a mezcal and Ardmore's light peat. It's just it's so good. But they also did an Ardmore in a dark rum cask.
I didn't like that one.
Did you not? I really kind of burnt sugar caramelly kind of flavor. It was so good.
Yeah, that's not my vibe. But I remember I tried your one.
You love a rum cask.
I'm yet to be won over by a rum cask. If anybody's got some suggestions of a rum cask for me to try, bearing in mind I do not like rum. I like mezcal, but I don't like rum. So, Iain, have you got any sort of shout outs of who we should be looking at tomorrow other than yourselves? Obviously, we're going to come to visit, not tomorrow, Saturday. I'm a day ahead.
I was like, oh my God, are we going? No. To be honest, I don't actually, it's been such a fraught week. I haven't really looked at the whole list of who's going to be there. But our favorites that we always, our best pals, I suppose, in the industry are like, Tricara. We love Tricara. Ryan and Ola have been really, really good to us. Ryan has got a little bit more buying clout with some of the bigger companies than we do, because he's got obviously a good cask investment background. He's got a lot of good contacts, so sometimes he'll snaffle a few good casks from us from some of the big boys, which is amazing. And to be fair though, Ola's been really helpful with that recently of late as well, to give her a shout out, because she's been taking a lot of that side of the. I think they've been trying to organise themselves, and like I think Ryan was like, Ola's doing the cask stuff now because we're trying not to just scatter bombs so much. And I'm like, I totally know what that means. Me and Andrew, every day is a scatter bomb day. It's like, right, structure, no. What do we need?
That's just how this industry works, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. So no, totally. Tricara, I can recommend. Fragrant drops, as discussed. Can't recommend highly enough, as well as Woody and Megan. Woodrose of Edinburgh. Top people, top whiskies. No frills, just like good whiskey. Exactly. Exactly. There's no pish.
I love it.
It's like best tagline ever.
Hanging out with them in Denmark recently.
Last year's festival, remember, Kat, we had a list, and it was like, if we need to go see these guys, we definitely want to see these guys. We walked in, and the first people we bumped into was Woody and Megan, and they're like, try this. It's like 28-year-old Aaron, we're like, okay. And then it's just like rip up the plan, out the window, everything's just fucked.
Because we were so good because we were literally sat on the train because our train had broken down. So we're actually running late. So we're like, right, we are going to formulate a plan. We need to make good use of our time. We're going to be late. So we're going to have structure. Mike was like looking up the list of attendees. We're like, we've never met them before. Let's ask them about the Blether. These guys are really interesting. Yeah, 5 minutes in the place, like, ooh, Megan Woody.
It was like Megan Woody, then Greg Ucker came along, and then we met Mike Billett and Willett. All within like 30 seconds, we're just like, yeah, okay, let's just melt.
Obviously Lady of the Glen as well. I think those would be the big four, I'd say. So like, Lady of the Glen, Woodrow's, Fragrant Drops, and Chikara would be my big four to 100% see. And come say hi. We don't bite. Andrew does bite.
We might bite back. You never know. We're from the northeast. We might bite back. But we'll 100% be coming to see you. And everyone who's on the chat who is going to the festival on Saturday, please come and find us. Mike and I will actually be arriving separately for once. We don't actually arrive everywhere together. But definitely come and find us and come and say hello. And I've just realised that it's like 2 hours, 10 minutes in and we're still chatting to you. We honestly better let you go soon. You
have got a lot of whiskey to pack for the weekend.
We're running a wee tasting in the warehouse tomorrow. We haven't even turned our brains to what we need to pack. So we'll get there. We will get there after the tasting at like 4 o'clock tomorrow. When we're in the warehouse, like, what do we need to do? Where's the card machine, where's the banners, all that kind of stuff.
Don't forget the card machine, and we're definitely coming across to see you. It'll be awesome to meet you in person.
And obviously we met Mike last year's one. Were you down with? I'm trying to think. Were you with the Canary Head guys, or am I making that up?
We spoke to them because you were next to Finn Thompson, weren't you?
Quite possibly. I was trying to remember who you were with. Someone when you came.
I bumped into Matthew at the festival.
It wasn't Matthew. It was Matthew.
So we weren't with him, but it just so happened we were at your stand.
Got you.
I think we met at Finn Thompson and moved on to your stand at the same time.
We did. Nice. Sorry, I must have met you actually in person because we tried your McMyra green tea cask. I just couldn't remember if it was you or Andrew.
To be honest, my brain was so mashed, and I probably obviously wouldn't have known who you were at the time, which was a sin in itself. Should have done. But now we will, obviously, and if we don't, then you can slap us and be like, Jesus Christ, guys, get it together. Although, to be fair, if you go through Andrew, he might not know who you are. He might not.
If you get slapped by a flat cap, then it's me.
Don't worry. Well, no, it's all good. Well, we did meet you. No, I won't forget either of you. Don't worry. It's all good.
I'm excited for it. It's going to be really, really good fun. And for all the guys that are heading over, please come and say hello to us as well. Really excited for it. And I think Mr. Stirk's probably not watching anymore because I imagine he's got a lot to do. But if Mr. Stirk is still watching, we're all very excited. And thank you so much for putting this on again this year. It's going to be good fun. You know what?
I've booked a room. I am able to stay.
You're not staying with Willis.
Where are you staying in Leith somewhere then, or?
It's about 15-minute walk from the theatre. I got a Airbnb, so it's probably going to be my last whiskey festival where I had to get to the train after. It took me an hour to get to the train. I missed the train. I had to get a taxi home. I looked on my sat nav or my Google map afterwards, and it should have been an 8-minute walk from where I was to the train station. So I'm not fully. I thought you went home with Chris. Did you not go home with Chris from Little Brown Dog? Oh no, not that festival. The last that was an Elgin festival.
Right, sorry.
Yes. When I was so I'm not confident I'm going to make that 20-minute journey. It's probably going to be like a 2-hour wander through Leith before I find my. It'll be fine.
We'll point you in the right direction.
Great. You'll be great.
Real good. But yeah, we're gonna let you get off because Iain, I'm sure you've got loads to do before this festival, and yeah, I'm very conscious that we've kept you for ages.
No, it's all good. No, it's been amazing. It's been amazing to spend a bit more time with you in this virtual space, and I'll obviously look forward to meeting you at the or seeing you again at the festival at the weekend, and definitely, we'll definitely have to chat more going forward, like in a Blether and non-Blether capacity as well.
100%.
Yeah, I would love to get some Pictish ideas and maybe
No, totally. It'd be awesome.
We're right there in that kind of community as well. So the Pictish Whisky thing, I think
there's not many people in the Pictish Whisky community, so it seems stupid that we aren't doing something. So we probably should.
Yeah.
Yeah, 100%.
And if you're ever up the road and want to look for Glengeary, give me a shout and we'll...
Oh, no, 100%. It's one that we've not done, and Aidan, we never did it with Aidan. There's a few, in that neck of the woods that we didn't actually do. We didn't really base ourselves in that neck of the woods for any tours. So, no, 100%. I will do. It's been too long since we've been up in the northeast, so we'll get up there.
You know how to find me. So yeah, please do. You and Andrew you're both welcome, of course, definitely, anytime. Mike, you're away to ask me who's on next week. Give me 2 seconds.
While you're doing that, I can't not leave without giving a shout out to our local guys. These guys are like 10 minutes from where we are. They'll be at the festival. Check them out; they're brilliant.
Sorry, that is a shout. That is definitely a shout out as well. Sorry, they should have been a shout out too. My bad.
Their new range is fantastic. This is not from the new range. It's a black lad about summer last year. But definitely give them a shout. And Iain, if you do get the chance to go and mingle with Chris and Andrew, because I think Andrew's going to be there this year. He wasn't there last year.
Oh no, they're both. We were the one time that we went to the Scotch Whisky Awards, the one that they won. We were at the same table. Oh, yeah. They're top guys. Really like Andrew and Chris.
Well, you saw that purple suit in person.
Yes, I think I did. Although I feel like I should remember that better than I am just now. So maybe I'd had too many.
Maybe you blocked it. Maybe you've just blocked it from your memory.
Maybe Chris is the one with the long hair, right? No,
that's I'd say Andrew's brother.
Sorry. So Chris is the other chap in the video who's got got you.
Yes, yeah. He's the quiet one. I'm ready if you want to ask me who's on next week, by the way.
Okay, who is on next week? Spontaneously.
Yeah. Thank you for asking. We have John Coombs from Annandale. He is the UK trade sales advocate. I didn't read that off my bit of paper at all. But yeah, Annandale Distillery on next week, which is awesome because we haven't really had anybody from the borders.
I just had a banging Annandale as part of a new range we've taken into the shop from it's kind of Gordon McPhail's called Spirit of Scotland. They've got
that's why I got him on.
Annandale.
Because I'm that well organised. It's a perfect link.
Amazing. And if you're at the festival, I'm sure that you know how Woodrow's have got they've got their new. Obviously, I said that we do the blends to bring the price down. They've got their kind of
the warehouse blend.
The warehouse blend, but they've also brought out the Jane Street.
Jane Street, yeah.
Kind of the slightly diluted. Are they diluted? I think they are diluted. I can't remember.
48.5%.
Yeah. So those ones, yes, Jane Street. Is one of them Annandale? Is it not? Am I right?
It says on our website though. Like as soon as if you buy one, if you go on and have a look, they do tell you what the liquid is because the original date we had for you being on was their launch for Jane Street, and I was meant to be at it, and you guys were going to it.
Yeah, we went there. Yeah.
I didn't make it, but I've got the peated one. But yeah, they're very honest about what the actual liquid is. So it could be Annandale, but
I think
you'll see it on their website
in a very small. Like I'm sure it says it in like a little crevice somewhere, unless they started putting stickers on like after the original one. I'm not sure.
Maybe.
The original one is Glencadam, I think.
Ah, right, okay.
So it might be the smoky or it might be the sherry.
Or it might be one that's to come. I think maybe they were saying that one was starting with this and it was going to get
Yeah,
replaced by
because
that.
I think it's going to be different. Maybe not every time, but it's going to be batch. So it's
Totally. Aye. Aye. Oh, awesome.
Ian, can't wait till Saturday. It's going to be absolutely
pleasure.
amazing.
Look forward to seeing you both there, and safe travels. Safe travels down. And
You too.
I'm a lot nearer than you guys. Sorry. But yeah, no, safe travels down, and look forward to catching you there and seeing obviously people that were in the comments and stuff. It'd be great to see you. And I'm glad that we'd come across friendly and not bitey and aggressive.
Definitely, guys. If you're heading down to the festival Saturday, go over to the FIB stand and go and say hello to everyone. And we'll see you all there. Slange, and we'll see you next week.
Cheers. Slange, guys. Bye.
Cheers, guys.